We should be live. Let me double check. Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world. Some are going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Lil Baby, Trippie Redd, Polo G, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and a long list of other folks that I keep forgetting the name. Okay, so today we're going to go over how to make melodies from scratch and how to mix beats. We're going to use a beat that we got from our Discord that our guy submitted. So what we're going to do is switch screens and get straight to it. So melodies. First thing we need to understand is the music theory of it all. Now, I know music theory is like a term almost like, I'm trying to think of a word that we don't say in America. It's almost like the F word. It's almost a curse word, music theory. What's up, Shalt? AKA Lil Hustle Man. Future's here, what up? And, but it's the way that people teach music theory, because here's what happened. Here's a quick story before we get into it. I went to University of Villanova University. I was studying pre-med, and I was a bio major and pre-med kind of other major, like focus, I'll say. And in doing so, I love music, but I just didn't know how to get into it without going through band. So I had a class in college called like songwriting and music theory, something like that. So in the class, we learned, the 1, 3, 5, the, whatever, the 4, 5, 6. We learned all these numbers, but the problem was when I went home to actually apply the techniques, I would always insert 1, 3, 5 into Serum, for example. Let me show you guys what this would even sound like. So I was into sound design back then. I was using Sylenth 1 at the time. And in Sylenth 1, this is a little small screen. Let's switch this up. In Sylenth 1, you could select what are called semitone values. So you could do +1, and then I would add another synth, and then I would do 3, because they taught me 1, 3, 5. And then I'd play those notes, and I'd be like, that doesn't sound like a major chord. And when I went to draw in the notes for the chords into the piano roll, I would do the same thing. I would count starting at 1, I would count up to 3, count up to 5. And I couldn't figure out why my chords didn't sound like chords. And so it discouraged me, because here's what I would do. I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd be like, that doesn't sound like a major chord. Doesn't sound like one. And so for the longest time, I couldn't realize why my chords didn't sound like chords. So chords always felt like this foreign concept, like chords, some scary word. It's because we were taught in a way that forces us to memorize a step in between called a scale. So I'm going to show you a way today where we don't need a scale to make chords. You don't need to memorize anything except how to count. And that's pretty much it. Let me say my hellos before I get into it. Creepers TV is here, the Morbid Creator. Let's do this. Amen is here. What's up, man? I started lately producing. What do you think I should do? Watch this video. His name is Shut Up with a money sign. What's up? Johnny Boys is back. I like your logo with the lime green with the fly. Yeah, it's supposed to be a bee, but they gave me a fly. Amen. J708 says, sounds like a Fiend Rage beat goes hard. Fiend Rage beat. Okay, so what we're gonna get into first, Overlord is here. T is here, what up? T says, Game explains music better than any other teacher I've encountered doing lessons, paid or free. Dang, that's a screenshot worthy testimonial, thank you. Appreciate that. Let me save that real quick. Save it to the bucket, hold up. Testimonial from T, a little testimony. Lil Hustle Man says, I am addressing you as my mentor OG, learned a lot through your classes, felt like we built a relationship. Hey, in return, you're the reason I do all this. Sometimes I look at this screen and I'm like talking to the screen and I'm like, I hope I'm helping somebody, because sometimes it feels like I'm rambling, and that's the last thing you want to feel is like a person showing somebody something, is that you're just going off on tangents. So if you're learning stuff, then good. Thank you for that. I needed to know that it's translating. Crazy Maynard is here. Puree is here. B Bird Beats. What up? DJ Pawn Shop. How much is Hercules? The lowest is $24.99 right now. So that's for the 340 plus sounds. It's a VST plugin at busyworksbeats.com/Hercules. It's a VST. It works on Mac and PC. If you're on Mac, a lot of people have been emailing me about Mac. Make sure when you're doing your plugin scan in FL Studio, make sure you turn off where it says verify plugins, okay? And also go into your Apple settings and go to privacy and security, and then make sure it can actually open the file. Mac has like unnecessary security, and that's why people are having issues with Mac sometimes. Lil Fireboy, TKICU, can you share some plugins? We'll get to that in a second. 23, 4. All right, so this is for people watching the replay. I want to make sure I'm on track. I just wanted to say what's up to y'all. Now let me show you a method that I discovered because I was frustrated from my teachers teaching me 1, 3, 5. And I would go type in the notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd be like, why does this not sound like a major chord? I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. So it was frustrating me to the point where I couldn't even write music anymore. And so I always had this myth in my head that chords are this foreign concept. I would always look at, the SoundClick producers, like, how do they get their music to look so like full? Mine would always have like one single line going all the way through. Theirs would look like 8 lines. I didn't know they were even called chords at the time. So let me show you guys the magic trick that I've found just by like banging my head on a wall. What up, DMG? I'm literally going to close my eyes and show you guys this. So this is what you can show your friends as long as you credit BusyWorks Beats. Okay. Now I didn't found the concept. The actual concept is called integer notation. If you music theory snobs tell me this is wrong, go look it up. It's actual music theory. It's called integer notation. But for those who watch these replays and stuff, go tell a friend that BusyWorks Beats showed you. That's all I ask. All right. So if you close your eyes and literally pick any key on the keyboard. Okay. We just happen to land a D sharp. You don't even need to know what D sharp is. Let's make what's called the minor ninth chord, which is a super jazzy chord. So let me pull this down 1 octave just to get the best voicing for it. So the minor ninth chord is 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. Okay, so all you have to know is really a major chord is 0, 4, 7. A minor chord is 0, 3, 7. And I'll show you guys more advanced ways to get through chords for more advanced folks. So wherever you land is called the 0 point. We take this 0 point and we count up the keyboard until we finish the chord code. So now we have 0, and remember the chord code in this case, and to get a free chord code, just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. I made an infographic that you guys could download straight to your phone as a reference, or even drop it in the background of FL. Okay. So here we have 0. Let's count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This will always make a minor ninth chord no matter where you are on the keyboard. And now you just made the most jazzy sounding chord knowing nothing about music theory. And that's the beautiful part, is that I discovered this by banging my head against the wall to make it super simple for the person behind me to say, this is how you get into music theory to where it's not boring and complicated. And I'm going to show you guys even more tricks here. Of course, all the time, go grab Biggs Bruh's course. What I say, BusyWorks Beats, Google them. Thank you. When you Google me, Reddit posts pop up from probably competitors that planted fake Reddit posts. So it's going to be kind of whack. That's what people do online, unfortunately. Your laugh's good method, but I think learning music theory is better. So let me show you your laughs. So here's the questions I ask all the music theory people who tell me that method is bad. I go, okay, what is 1, 3, 5? To even use 1, 3, 5, we have to map out what's called a scale. Let's use the easiest scale for now. Let's assume the C major scale. So you learn the C major scale as whole, 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 half, whole, 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 half, if I didn't say too many holes. So it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's how we learn this C major scale. The problem is we have to memorize it. So that's the first problem, is that we have to memorize these long combinations of letters, right? Now, if you dig deeper into what is a whole step is 2 semitones. A half step is 1 semitone. So aren't we truly using numbers to make a scale? Yes, because we're going from 0 up 2, up 2 more, up 1, up 2, up 2, up 2, and up 1. That's another way we could technically translate what a scale actually is. But we, instead of using 2 and 1, we say whole and half because it's a little bit easier to translate. But the problem with this is when I say 1, 3, 5, do we mean 1, 3, 5 of a major scale? Do we mean 1, 3, 5 of a minor scale? What if the scale doesn't have 7 notes? What if it's not diatonic? What if it's, there's so many things about the scale. And so a lot of music theory folks are taught on this, but they don't understand the flaw because it's so embedded in society as the way we have to do music. So I challenged that. I said, why do we have to do it that way? If I show you guys something, let me do a 2-5-1 chord progression. Now I also teach traditional music theory. So for those wanting to get deeper into traditional music theory, I do teach traditional music theory. So I don't just skip all over it. Let's do what's called a 2-5-1. This is a chord progression you need to know for R&B. Okay, so it's 2-5-1. Let's do a minor ninth chord into a dominant ninth chord. And I'm going to break this down to show you guys the magic behind this. And then we're going to land on a major ninth chord. Major, where's it at? Major, Mage 9, here we go. Okay, make sure y'all can see the screen. Okay. So here's what it sounds like. Now that sounds kind of like whatever. Sounds kind of bland, right? So what if I told you using chord codes, you could figure out what chords actually are. So let's say you're a beginner and you're like, what are all these notes on my screen? You could actually map out. So I could visually see using chord codes. This is the advanced side of chord codes. So I'm showing you how to make chords from scratch using chord codes, but also the advanced techniques on how to use chord codes. So here's how we do it. You know, you might play a chord on a keyboard and go, what chord is this? And here's how you can reverse engineer any chord. So at the root of a chord is usually the chord type, the first 3 notes, usually, okay? All I have to do is count it out. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a minor triad. Now, if I randomly click up here and I go, what are these notes up here? What makes the dominant ninth a dominant ninth is because it has a major triad at the bottom, which is 0, 4, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then it has what's called a diminished chord in between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 0, 3, 6. And then on top, we have a minor chord, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 3 chords in one. That's what a dominant chord actually is. Now, if you didn't know that, you would understand why we use dominant chords to transition to any chord, okay? So let's highlight the 5th and 9th. This is called altering a chord. The 5th and the 9th, we're gonna raise those up. I'm just showing you advanced music theory. And then we could use what's called a tritone substitution. What is a tritone? 6 semitones. So we can alter this down 6 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is why chord codes are so powerful. It bypasses all of this traditional language and gets you straight to music that you actually love. And you could break all the rules. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you guys today is how to break the rules when it comes to melodies. I just want to say what's up to everybody. We got a lot of folks in here. Okay, we got a lot of folks, so it's time to get rocking. Let me switch to live view so I could, okay, cool. Making sure y'all could see. I'm going to answer any questions real quick. Go grab good method, but I think, okay, so hopefully your laughs, you got a different perspective about music theory. Remix and instrumental, can I place my notes on top of it? Yes. So remind me, we can do that today, just remind me. Lex Luger beat, lost my life. Dang, sorry to hear that. How do they say? Look for the silver lining in the cloud, because behind it is the light. Swimming is here. So let's get into it. What is melody? So melody is really, here's what everybody skips, is harmony. Melody comes in 4 layers. You have a top line layer, you have a harmony layer, a contrast layer, and you have a rhythm section. Now those can all be combined and interchanged. So as you're doing melodies, instead of trying to do everything at once and trying to like get it all done in one take, try to do it in layers. So let's do it in layers real quick. Let's start with our harmony. Now, my opinion, I would recommend harmony first, because from harmony, you can create melodies. What if I showed you this? I'm gonna show you a couple examples here, and then we'll swap out the instrument. Let's actually do my plugin called Hercules at busyworksbeats.com/Hercules. Let's use the guitar called Emotion here. All right, it's one of my favorite presets. Sisteezy, thanks for the stream. Thank you for being here. Dollar, do sample users know music theory? Not necessarily, but you do need to know music theory to add to samples most of the time. Transitions, remind me. Because to me, a transition is music theory. Also, somebody said, how do we remix with the top line? I'm keeping notes for myself. Cool. All right, so when it comes to melody, excuse me, what if I showed you guys this? So, pardon. Okay. Whoops, wrong instrument. Let's get rid of Serum real quick. So now we're in Hercules, my plugin at busyworksbeats.com. Okay, so if we start at B, D, F sharp is called a minor chord. How do I know this? 0, which is the root note. Count up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a minor triad, it's called. A triad is a 3-note chord. The way I teach in my music theory magic course at busyworksbeats.com/music theory magic, the way I teach is, if you dig into the etymology of what a chord actually is, the older definition is actually 2 notes or more. And this makes sense because you have Yeat songs, you have Playboy Cardi songs. Those are 2-note chords. And in trap music, we use a lot of 2-note chords. So if we never defined the 2 notes as a chord, we're never going to get that sound. Okay, but it's still chordal technique. So now we have a minor triad. So what I'm going to show you guys is how we go about playing these exact notes. So we don't have to play it straight out like this, where it's B, D, F sharp like that. I'm trying to get my screen back to normal. Give me a second. Okay. We can play starting in what's called the fifth. So what is the fifth? The perfect fifth is 7 semitones up from the root note. So you have a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you always get what's called the perfect fifth. For more advanced folks who understand what I'm talking about, what is the ninth? The ninth is actually the perfect fifth of the perfect fifth. So what we can do in rock music and in like West Coast, like think of blast or kind of just West Coast genres, R&B, we can add a fifth of a fifth. This is called an add 9 chord, a minor add 9 chord. So here we have a minor chord 0, 3, 7, and we're going to count from the fifth, duplicate the note, and just count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the magical number of music if you haven't gotten that just yet. What is up, Tommy? So 7 is the magic number. So this creates what's called the ninth. And what we're doing in this specific case is omitting the 7th. But let me show you where the 7th actually comes from. If we take the third of this chord and count up, you guessed 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You now have the 7th. So in reality, I know I'm getting a little advanced, but I'm just trying to show people how important the number 7 is. The root note plus 7 is the perfect fifth. Plus 7 from the perfect fifth is the ninth. If we go to what's called the minor third in this case and add 7, we get the minor 7th. That's where these notes come from. Okay, so we can omit what's called the 7th so that we have what's called a minor add 9 chord. And what we could do is either strum it note by note, or we could play it, with different voice leadings, I'll say. Okay, so we can start at the fifth, go to the tonic, go to the third, and then up to the ninth. Okay, so there's different ways we can play the notes, but that's where the melody is coming from. We're basically chopping up a chord. And then now we could use the same exact notes. And now we can use velocity to really, and literally we can copy and paste this. Let's showing you guys how easy music theory is once you understand it. Dazza says, I really appreciate these streams that you have been delivering. Although I primarily use innuendo, I find your teaching style very accessible, and a lot of this information translates to dolls. Thank you. We needed that testimonial. May the church say amen. Thank you, Dazzle. So let me stop. All right, let me save that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I keep saying I'm gonna, but today I really need to sit down and upload all you guys' testimonials over to my Mac so that I can post them to Instagram. So all the good testimonials, I'm gonna post them to Instagram, and I wanna do it today. Your hairy aunt, how do I make melodies that make people forget about the allegations? Is that Joe Biden's face? I can't see. I heard Joe Biden step down today. Isn't that crazy? But that's neither here nor there. Elsa Polka, how you say it? Elsa Polka Po. Where should I start off if I come from GarageBand? This is the best way to start, in my opinion, chord codes, because this applies to everything. I could go over to my keyboard and do the same exact thing, and it works. You could do this with piano. So let me show you guys. So once you have the idea of chopping up a harmony, this creates melody. A friend of mine, his name is Travis Marsh. I'll say business acquaintance because I don't use the word friend really at all. But, business acquaintance of mine, Travis Marsh, showed me this. Let me see here. So if I play this one note, he taught me that one lesson, and he made me realize that's the birthday song for people who didn't pick up the rhythm there. But he made me realize that melody is way more than the notes. Melody is really not the notes. We're not listening for notes because a lot of us sing out of key. A lot of us sing in the wrong key based off of memory. And he made me realize melody is a memorization of rhythm and intervallic distance. That's what melody actually is. So as long as we understand the concepts behind it, 23-4 says, thank you for teaching me everything I know about making trap beats. I knew music theory before, but you taught me the sauce of the doll. Thank you, G. Thank you. Y'all are giving fire testimonials today. Maybe it's because it's Sunday. Y'all are in your church spirit. Thank you. Thank you, congregation. Save these. No, I appreciate these. These really help other people because some people are skeptical. You know, they don't want to waste time. So you guys really help them not waste time. So I appreciate that. And I kind of went on a tangent and I forgot what I was talking about, to be honest with y'all. But what we're going to do from this point, harmony leads to melody because of rhythm. So if we look at what we just played, it's not just harmony. This is rhythm plus harmony. Now, where does top line come from? Top line comes from, in my opinion, whatever harmony that you guys have, for the ear to distinguish the difference between harmony and a top line. In my opinion, it should be about an octave higher. There's something in mixing I teach called critical bands, and we're gonna get into mixing later, called critical bands. Shout out to you. I can't pronounce your letters, but shout out to you. Says I love you too. Thank you. I learned a lot of sound design from you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna give you that as screenshot creepers. Appreciate y'all. Y'all are being super nice today. What was I saying though? See, I go off on tangents and I forget. Okay, so top line. Oh, there's something in mixing called the critical bands. In short, our ear listens to sound in domains. Okay, so if I pull up a FabFilter Pro Q3, so whenever you hear engineers talking about separation of sound, they're referring to these 3 critical bands. And it's way deeper than what you guys might think. Okay, so when I say critical bands, I mean a zone of frequency. So let's just say from about 100 hertz and below, we have the low critical band. Ciao, maestro. Ciao. Is that Italian, if I'm not mistaken? And at 1000 hertz, we have what's called the mids. And I'm kind of categorizing this just to be vague here. So we have the lower critical band, the middle critical band, and the high critical band, which is that should be at 10K. Okay, so it's increments of 10. So it's 100 hertz, 1000, and then 10K. Because it's logarithmic, it's called. So in understanding this, when you separate sound in each zone, you ask for better mixed translation. Can I hear my vocals in the low critical band? Can I hear my vocals in the mid critical band? Can I hear it in the high critical band? Then you do the reverse. Can I hear my bass in the low critical band? Can I hear my bass in the mid critical band? Can I hear it in the high critical band? And you start zoning out each band. And each band has a dominant force and a priority per critical band. So when we get into mixing, remind me about the critical bands. Actually, I'll take notes. Oh, my notes deleted, darn. It was mix, it was remix, top line, and it was transitions, I think. And my another note is to show you guys critical bands. I should probably write this on paper instead of typing it out, but we're gonna come back to that concept. So the same thing with melody. For the ear to distinguish the critical bands, we need to actually pull them up an octave, in my opinion. Can you use the same codes to make insane hybrid trap EDM beats? Yeah, these chord codes apply to all genres. It's way deeper than a genre. We're talking about how the intervals make the melody totally agree, works with call and response. Also, can we hear notes when they're missing? Can we hear notes when they're missing? That's a psychological test we'd have to do. It's a great question though, psychoacoustics. Because really, now we're getting into too many concepts, but when you guys hear about mid and side, you know, mono versus stereo, mono is something our brain creates. Mono doesn't exist. And remind me to tell you guys about that too. Mono is a made-up concept our brain creates in our brain. Our brain literally hallucinates mono. So mono isn't even a real thing. We'll get to that though. Okay, so now that we have the top line goes on top of. Now I'll show you guys some techniques if you don't want to waste all this time trying to figure out stuff. So let's hit Alt-P in FL Studio. Whoops. I hit Windows P. Let's hit Alt-P in the new FL Studio 2024, and it will finish your chord progression for you. So even if you don't feel like trying to figure out all the next chords, even though I have a process to show you guys this in my music theory magic course, I'll just kind of do the shortcuts that you guys might use. One, it figures out the key that we're in, so it says F sharp minor, and then it figures out the next chords. Now, I'm not gonna get into the weeds about everything about this, but if you guys want more chords, you can pull up your count. Okay, so let's say 8 chords. That last chord I don't like, so you can hit the shuffle button. Last chord, not the greatest chord, but we'll figure it out manually. I'll show you guys how to manually figure that last chord out. Gregor says, where do I get your, like the numbers for chord progressions earlier, like the cheat sheet? Here's the website. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. All right, so now we have what are called harmonies. Now the problem is the harmonies are up an octave, so we're gonna pull these harmonies down an octave. And we have to flip-flop. So basically, we're gonna get rid of what we created since it overlaid their chords on top. Let's get rid of this. So let's say you guys just wanna use the cheat sheets and do something like this. Now the question is, how do you turn this into a melody? We're gonna start using these techniques that we talked about. So get ready to talk about music theory and ease. Alessandro says, could you please turn down like 3 dB the FL output? Your voice is way lower. Oh, you know what? Let me think for a second. It might be my mic. Hold up. Okay, my mic's pretty loud at -6. So you're saying FL? Is anybody else FL too loud? Let me know. Maybe it's my monitoring levels. I can't tell. See if this affects it. That shouldn't do anything. All right, so let's say you're starting with chords and you're like, okay, how do I add melody to this? My first kind of rule of thumb is to start 1 octave higher. So let's start here at the first chord. Let's go up an octave. Yeah, too loud or yeah, too quiet? That means I need to turn up my vocal, not down the music. Let me know, somebody. Let me know, is the vocal too loud or is the music too loud or is it cool? I don't know what yeah means, that's why I'm asking. All right, so we're gonna go up an octave. So let's start here at C sharp. And you may ask, what note should we use next? Now, there's something that I teach in music theory magic called intervallic resolution. It's cool now. I don't know what I did, but I don't know. So it might have been this thing here, maybe. I doubt it though. But we're gonna start 1 octave higher. And let's say you don't know where to go with your melody. Let me make these plucks so that it's not a sustained sound. Give me a second. Swap the sound here. And you might not know which note to go to next. So let's go up to what's called the perfect fifth. Okay, so in music theory, I teach this a lot. Remember we did the 2-5-1 chord progression earlier? There's something in music called the dominant chord. The dominant chord always wants to go back to the tonic. Okay, so once you understand the power of the dominant chord, you won't think about music theory the same. And it took me a long time to really get there, but now I understand why. What we can do is go up to whatever note. Let's say we're using our ear. And we count from this note. If we ever need a third note, okay, we can then count down 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because this becomes a dominant to tonic resolution. If you think about your melodies and chords as unresolved or resolved, it'll make so much more sense. The Discord link, yeah, should be in the video description too. So it's discord. Oh, you know, it's in our Discord too. I forgot. If you go to discord.gg/busyworksbeats. In short, we're going from the dominant to the tonic. So that will always resolve, it's called, okay? So I'm trying to like not give you guys hard rules, but if your melody needs 3 notes, it needs to start somewhere, go somewhere, come back, okay? If it needs 2 notes, it starts somewhere and it goes somewhere. So it's not resolved unless you do a 5-1 or a dominant to tonic. So only until you resolve something is it complete. So if I were to just go from C sharp to E, our ear needs to finish that sentence, so to speak, okay? And so in this case, if we needed a third note in this specific measure, we would count down to the tonic to resolve it so that we don't have that. It's called an open loop. So whenever people ask me what note to add next, you can do, I would say use your ear mostly, but you could also try intervallic resolution, which I go way deeper into intervallic resolution in the course. Just want to say I appreciate you so much for your work. Thank you. I knew nothing about music theory or making beats. I completed your music producer. You talking about the music producer professional program? Master producer course, and now I know it all. Just did my first drum kit thanks to you. Oh, it's sick. I'm happy you did your first drum kit, because that was the course I wanted producers to really grasp, like how to make your own kick, your own snare, your own hi-hat, your own claps from scratch. I'm happy that you got your own drum kit. Sick. Let us know what it's called. We'll look it up, like, after the show. Cadences, everybody. This is here, important music theory. Yeah, cadences, I'm gonna save that for my course stuff, but cadences, it would take me too long to explain cadence, to be honest. But there's deceptive cadence, there's plagal, there's, but I don't want to get too deep. I'll probably cover that maybe when I do secondary dominant. Y'all keep giving me these dope testimonials. Mac Production says, thanks to your music theory course, I was able to make a blues melody. There you go. Yeah, that's the Zaytoven scale right there, the blues scale. That's his scale. That's the Zaytoven sound, is that blues scale run. All right. Huh. All right, so next we're going to use our ear. My ear was here. Duh. Now here's another kind of tip. I'm giving you little tips. I don't want to like give you guys everything right now. But again, whenever you go outward, you need to resolve most of the time. How do you resolve? You count down 7 notes from wherever you are to go from the dominant to the tonic. Just the number 7. Just always remember the number 7. So here we went down 7 notes to resolve. Another way you can resolve is going down a half step. So half steps love to go back down a half step. And now we're using parts of this chord. Now the distance here is a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I don't want to confuse you guys when I say dominant to tonic, but there's also something called a perfect fifth and a perfect fourth. The reason we call these perfect is because they always harmonize. So perfect fifth is 7 semitones upward. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you pull it down an octave, it's 5 semitones away from whatever note you were just at. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a perfect fifth upward is also what's called a perfect fourth downward. You don't need to memorize that. I'm just showing you this to show you that it's the same exact note. And the reason it's called perfect is because it always resolves or sounds harmonious, I'll say. So now I'm just using my ear to guide through. But if I ever get stuck, now here's a rookie mistake. They add a ton of notes back to back to back to back to back to back without any gaps. In music theory, we have stuff called a motif. A motif is like when you're listening to a new song and it's like, I'm from the ghetto, ghetto, ghetto. I'm from the hood, hood, hood. Yeah, I'm from the ghetto, 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 and I look good, good. Something like that. As a first time listener, you're like, okay, I can get it. I'm from the 1, 2, 3. I'm from the 2, 2, 2. I'm from the 2. It's easy to catch on right away. And there's something called the rule of thirds. Rule of 3, we'll say. And whenever you're introducing motif, you'll notice that in more pop songs, they really use this a lot. What's T-Pain's song? Now throw your hands up, and they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say up, down, up, down, up, down. That's 3. Because all I do is 1, 2, 3. All I do is win, win, win. Now put your hands in the air, make them stay yeah. Okay. It's the rule of 3. It always works. It's something about just the Trinity. It goes deeper into the concepts of the universe. Basically, when you get into geometry, this is how deep it goes. When you get into geometry, how do you make shapes? You need a third point. Outside of a circle, how do you make shapes? You need 3 points. To make a triangle, you need 3 points. You have the starting point over here, and then you have a third point. How do you make a square? You need 4 points. But technically, a square is 2 triangles added up, so you need 3 points. And so to create dimension in your song, we use to call the rule of thirds, because that creates dimension, aka the triangle. That was very esoteric, so I don't expect anybody to memorize that. I've been using a technique called ABAC while making melodies. I mean, to each his own. There's no right or wrong way. Is it okay for my Is it okay from my end, the voice and instrumentation? Oh, it is okay. Okay, cool. Thank you for the volume check, y'all. But here's a rookie mistake is they put a ton of notes back to back to back with their melody. So again, if you're kind of confused as to where we are right now, we have 4 layers to harmony, 4 layers to melody. The top line layer, the harmony layer, the contrast layer, and the rhythm section. Now earlier we had harmony / rhythm. Now we're doing harmony, top line. Okay, so when you're doing your melodies, try to separate them in the pieces. It will make more sense. Unless you guys play stuff by hand, just think of it as pieces that you're layering on top. So what we're doing is copying this gap right here. This is what I meant about motifs. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's that bounce. Now let's say I don't know which note to go to. We could either go down 7, which resolves it. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or we can go up 5 because again, up 5 would just be the same note up an octave. Now my ear doesn't like the note D. To me, this shouldn't resolve, but here it sounded good, but now we're in a different motion. Whereas before we were going upward. Here's another kind of meta concept about melodies is you're either going upward or downward. And I'll keep this short. Whenever you go upward, you create happiness. Whenever you go downward, you create sadness, I'll say. And there's different rules that apply to going upward versus downward. So in this case, I tried to apply the rule of resolving down 7 from this note, but we're already going low. So that doesn't work for this specific section. Whereas when I went upward, we come back down like a roller coaster. If I'm going up, I can come back down. Here, I'm already down. I'm going down. Going down further from down didn't sound right. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. There's no rhyme or reason as to why this is working here. It just sounds right to my ear. And then now we're repeating this little section here. So it's in pieces. This timing, 1, 2, 3. We copy that timing here, 1, 2, 3. And then we have the B section of the melody, which is dun, dun. Okay. And then we have the middle section, or you could kind of categorize this as all one piece, technically, rhythm wise. So you'll find a pattern, guys, in your melody. What I'm saying to you is that for catchier melodies that stick, they have repeating rhythms because people might not know the exact notes that you play, but they'll remember the rhythm. And that's what we call motif. And then we can repeat it. Now it also depends on the chord underneath, but I'm not trying to go into extreme levels of music theory. Let's just copy and paste this over. And if it sounds wrong, we'll fix the exact. Now here we can go outside of the key. I'll show you guys it's okay to go out of key. What up, Daniel? Now this last chord does not match the top line. And here's where you got to use your discernment. Okay, so let's say you don't know which chord to end on. What I recommend is that you guys play the top note of your chord and ask, where does your ear want to go to? Now, what is this note? It's the 5th of E. I'm trying not to go too far down the lanes of music theory, but on top of what's called the dominant to tonic, we could also use something called the perfect fifth to help resolve stuff. So let's call this chord live stream. Actually, no, it's more about melody. Let me save this project real quick. Save. And you guys will get the replay in all the project files that I do today. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio to sign up to get access. So today is July 21st. This is how you guys should organize your folders, by the way. Year, month, and then the day. And then what the thing is, live stream, melodies, and mixing. Boom, save. Gregor says, how do you know which chord codes you need to use the note? I'm about to show you. Funny enough, you asked that question right here. So a method that I teach is listen to the top note of each chord, because that's the note you're really listening to when you listen to the chords. Okay, that's what we're really listening to in the chord progression. So whenever you need to guide your ear, this is what they call playing by ear. I can literally show you how to reverse engineer any chord. So what my ear hears is that we need to end on B as the top note of a chord. Now the question is, we don't know which chord this is going to lead to. So we can do what's called trial and error, which is the easiest, fastest way. A chord is either going to be a major or minor chord most of the time. Rarely is it any other chord type. So what we're going to do is just try the major chord, but we're going to make sure that the top note is B, so that we're landing on B. So to my ear, that sounded cool, but let's also try the minor chord. To try a minor chord, we could pull the major third down one. So now the chord code is not 047, it's 037. So that's the difference between a major and a minor chord. Now to my ear, I say that's wrong. Something's wrong about that. And it's because of that triad that or the minor third. Now we can take that into more exotic music theory talk, but that's the basic explanation of how to end something. Now we can also do what's called a dominant to tonic resolution, which this is a little advanced, so just bear with me here. If this chord is a major chord, we can make this a dominant chord, and then we can move into what's called the 5-1 dominant to tonic resolve. So how would I know where to land? Basically, you start at A and you say, you count down 7, because A is the fifth of something. So A is the fifth of D in this case. So we're going to count down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is where our root note will begin, is 7. And we need to create what's called a dominant ninth chord. I know I'm kind of getting into the weeds here, but just bear with me. So let's start here at A, which is the fifth of D. And I'm going to get rid of some of these melodic notes because they are overlapping. So let's get rid of that B. Now, funny enough, the B was here because naturally our ear leads this way. I always feel 2-5-1 is the best chord progression. True. It's so strong of a resolution. And there's a reason why, which I teach in my music theory magic course. There's a scientific reason why the dominant to tonic is the strongest. Actually, not the dominant to tonic, but the, dominant to tonic. It's because of what's called the tritone. The tritone, for those who are more advanced and you understand what I'm saying, is 6 semitones away from the root note. And 6 semitones is the furthest way you can go from one note before you get into smaller intervals. So for example, 0, let me just quickly explain because I already brought it up. So for example, C, if I go up 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is called a tritone. This was banned in churches for a while. Like old school churches, they didn't like the tritone. They call it the devil's interval. Okay. Why? It's because you have opposites. You have God, the devil, heaven, hell. You have complete opposites. So what this tritone does is create so much dissonance because it's the furthest away you can go from any note. In the traditional music theory scheme, we're not talking about the other way of tuning that has like infinite tuning. I forget what it's called. But in the traditional way of tuning notes, you have the tritone. Now, what is the perfect fifth? The perfect fifth is 7 semitones away from your root note. But in reality, if I pull this perfect fifth down an octave, it's actually 5 notes away. Okay. And what I'm about to show you is even more crazy, which is if you go higher than the perfect fifth, which is a sharp fifth or augmented, now you're only 4 notes away. So as you go further away, you're actually getting, closer to the root note. So your distance, what I'm saying to you guys is the furthest distance you can go from note to note is 6 semitones. That's the furthest distance, and that's why the dominant chord is the most pulling on our ear. It's because this middle section of the dominant chord has what's called a diminished chord, and the diminished chord is what's called a tritone. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the furthest way you can pull notes away before it wants to snap back like a rubber band, and that's why the 5-1 is such a strong resolve. Once you get into the dominant, or once you get into the 7th version of the dominant chord that has the tritone involved. So that's where that theory came from, the jazz theory. Jingle is here. What up? You helped me so much in my music. Thank you, Jingle. I'm gonna screenshot that one. little testimonial this Sunday. I was thinking I should make a jingle for BusyWorks Beats, like a corny jingle. I wanted to do it like BusyWorks Beats. BusyWorks Beats. I was just going to do that to be silly. How long should a melody be in a beat for it to not get repetitive, or when should it be switched? Repetitive is really about the motifs. So if you go back in this live stream, you'll understand a lot more when you like really sit down to study motifs. I'll get to your question in a second though. Let's end on this major ninth chord here. And without even hearing this, I already know it's going to sound good. I'm going to give it what's called an altered chord voicing. So we're going to raise that fifth and ninth. Now I might have to change some of these notes. My ear wants to hear that C sharp because that's where we started. So I might go out of key on purpose here and raise this up, hit shift up. That's kind of hard with the melody on top. Again, this is why I separated the top line from the chords, because it's hard to hear the notes individually when everything's overlapping. So let's pull this up. So that's how you go out of key and then make it sound decent. Then you got to add the S to the jingle. Hilarious. Yuzuki is here. Aver, can I actually catch up? You could rewind this, put it in 2x speed. All right, so that was the beginner level to melody. I know I said a lot, I taught a lot, but that's why I have courses that go step by step through this stuff. My courses are literally like hours and hours long because I take the time to go through every little thing so that you can go from not knowing anything about music theory to knowing as much as I know. Okay, so go to busyworksbeats.com/musictheorymagic. And I'm saying that because last night, this is a quick story. Let me see how many people are here. We got 70 people here, holy crap. Last night I was trying to learn something about plugin development, and I was like searching up a very specific thing, and I was like, why are there no tutorials on this? And then they were like, everybody in the forum was like, check the documentation. You go to the documentation, aka they're like tutorial based, and it's just not clear. It's not for beginners. They assume you know everything. And I'm like, this is why I can't get to where I need to go, because nobody's taking the time to say, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. Everybody just assumes that we know everything. And when I saw that in music theory and music production, I was like, I have to be the person to simplify this, because I know how it feels for somebody to talk way over your head and they don't even take the time to go back to the beginning. So I know how that feels. So that's why I do this with so much detail. Now today is only the tip of the iceberg. In my courses, I really take the time to break it all the way down. Dubstep says, no coincidence, 7 perfect fit, 6 most far away from the root. If I understand it correctly, yes. So 7 is like, think about heaven as 7, seventh heaven, and think about 6 like 666. It'll make music make so much more sense. Like, oh, that's why this works. I can't thank you enough for real. You helped me so much in learning music theory. Thank you. You are giving me like bomb after bomb after bomb. So today I'm going to take the time after the stream and I'll post up you guys' testimonials to Instagram, because these are crazy good ones. Thank you. Alessandro says, I'll use your voice at the end of beats when you make almost an open. That's funny. The S. Yeah, let's figure out why. So I'm forcing my motif over top of this. Let's see. Now technically I didn't even use the 5 of this specific scale. I just used my ear. So we're going out of key on purpose. I think I'm missing a note too. Now this, okay, here it is. So it's how it comes down. This melody note here is determining how we perceive the chord. So this note is not in this chord, and so it sounds out of key. And so what I'll do is fix it by hand. Should be dead. Something in here, I feel. It goes dun. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. maybe because we're in a minor key, I went into a major scale, but secondary dominants should technically work. Instead of this one, let's do Alt G to ungroup. Let's make this a minor. So we're gonna take the 3rd and 7th, pull it down, a half step. What up, Crafter? And it just might be too jazzy. Let's swap out the sound too, because it's hard to hear. Let's do Prometheus. So this is my new plugin, Hercules, at busyworksbeats.com/Hercules. It's this ending chord, so I need to figure out. My ear wants to hear that steady tone. So I'm glad we did this, because now I'm going to do a different technique, which is to keep, how do I explain this here? We're going to keep the top note the same. This is a more jazzy technique, so bear with me explaining this here. But we want a chord change underneath, but we want to keep this top note the same. So there's multiple ways we could go about this, but let's just try transposing the chord up. Are you able to just take some steps keys out of the triad? Yeah, you can. So that sounds a lot better, pulling that top note up to C sharp. So it's certain things like this these are the variables in music theory. I know I teach kind of like templated ways to go about stuff, but sometimes we have to kind of pull some other techniques. But I teach all these techniques. How to develop a plugin in Rompler. I tried Rompler. I haven't tried it since, but it was a little tedious in the way I was developing through Rompler. You can do it. I had a video before on how to do it, but it was just, it was what it was. It just it didn't take me where I needed to go, because my plugins were already like up here. Rompler was like helping people get to here, but I needed something that could go to there, if that makes sense. And it was a little restricted for what I was trying to do. If you reach out to Steinberg, they will provide you with the full VST development kit for free. But the documentation is very paper-based. Oh yeah, I wouldn't even dare try to code from snippets and SDKs. I would be there all year. I made a tutorial on how to use FL Studio in 12 minutes without prior knowledge. There you go. Crafter Music. Let me see if I'm subscribed to you real quick, because I subscribe to everybody who makes tutorials. Oh, sick. Okay, well, I'll subscribe now. Dope. Also, I'm looking for a content team, so if anybody out there makes content, I'm looking to build a team. So let me know in our Discord. I'll put a bulletin up. And if you do tutorials or like stuff that's valuable, like not just making beats and stuff, I'm talking about like a really good entertainer, or you're really good at educating folks, I'm looking to build a team out. Are you able to just, okay, so we took a while to get here, but we have top line. We have rhythm within the top line. We have harmony. Now the last layer to our melody is contrast. The easiest way to get contrast is take all your notes of the chord and just pull them down an octave. You could also reinforce them down another octave. This isn't a hard rule, but contrast is something different. So if you have high frequencies, it means add lower frequencies. If you have something moving fast, make something go slow. If you have something, going upward, make something going downward. Contrast means something different than what's happening. And contrast does not mean baseline, by the way. Thank you for helping me get a good grade in music. Oh, shout out to you. That's a dope testimonial. You can apply this to your music class. That's dope. Yeah, we had universities and high schools using my stuff. So that's dope. So let's hear it all the way through. See how at the end it goes, and it pulls you, and then it pulls you back in. That's why that dominant chord is so important. Let me swap out the sound though. The sound's a little. I can swap this out with a piano just to show you guys it doesn't have to be some elaborate sound design. I'll put this into FL Keys. Show you guys it applies to piano. Now, if you struggle with writing melodies, I would recommend you start with stringed instruments. What up, Dan Tana? Spontaneous says, I just started my channel and we'll be making tutorials. I would love to join the team. Dope. Let me know when you post. What was I saying here? If you struggle with melody, start with stringed instruments like piano, which is a stringed instrument, guitar, or some kind of orchestral stringed instrument like a violin or something. This will help you understand basic music, because this is how music was discovered, was through strings. Can I learn vocal mixing from your tutorial? Yeah, we can get into that. Let me think. Do I have vocals on this computer? I don't think I do. Let me see if I have recorded vocals on here.
Literally, no, that's the high. Baby, you don't want to.
Well, I have vocals from like 2020, so I might be able to. Got lucky. I have all my vocal takes on here. So yeah, we'll do vocals too. Now, vocal mixing is easier than you think. It's just having the plugins is the hard part. So here's the piano, FL keys. Now, if you look at the whole melody, we have harmony, bass line or contrast layer, top line, and rhythm. That's all melody is. Dantana put it in the pot, $4.99. Thank you, Dantana. Go check out his channel too. He makes videos. I remember his Ableton Live 12 video. I should technically add more notes at the end here to finish that bounce. So notice how we are repeating that rhythm. That's what melody is to the core. I9 Bash says, G, you've literally taught me how to make music from scratch. Y'all are really giving it up today. I appreciate y'all. I9 Bash, thank you. Another testimonial. We collecting these like Pokemon cards. Y'all are making me feel wealthy in testimonials right now. Thank y'all. Because that really does help the next person make that decision. CG Beats. CG Beats, if he wants to level up, he's doing shorts now. I learned from, look up a video. I don't know if I sent this to you. Who did I send this to? I'm trying to think. I might have sent this to you. I can't remember. But there's a video with Ty Lopez and a guy from, I want to say Media Scaling. And if you sign up to their email list, they give you this free course. And I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Like, they explain all the like modern editing for shorts and stuff. So I think I have the course. I might upload it to like Google Drive and just share the link with you. It might be easier. But yeah, that's what we need to watch, basically. I would show you. I don't know if I have, oh, I do have CapCut. We might even talk about social media today. I'm not sure. But yeah, content is the way to move nowadays. Just posted my first style of educational content right now on how to increase beat sales. Is it on the YouTube? We got to pull it up. Tell me it's on YouTube. Hold on. Oh, shucks. How to increase beat sales, the power of consistent uploads. Let's see what the thumbnail is, though. Hold on. What's the thumbnail? Oh, you got the AI using vidIQ thumbnails. How to increase beat sales. I can tell a vidIQ thumbnail when I see one. It'll do.
What's good, y'all?
What's
this
good?
Is really just for like all my producers, you know, on how to get more beat sales.
Tell us.
It's really just simple.
I like the vertical format.
Really just gotta.
Funny enough, you're using the technique. Shout out to you.
My personal opinion.
That's the key. Highlighted. All right, he saw what I saw. Okay, cool.
You can't just upload one beat a day. Like, you need to upload at least 3 beats a day. I would recommend probably.
I'm reading all your captions, by the way.
It's like a realistic, consistent number.
I also like the realistic vocals. I don't know if the vocals are coming from your mic or from the phone. Either way, I like the fact that you're talking into a mic. But I like the tone of it. Like, it feels like I'm really in the room.
That you can actually upload those amount of beats every single day.
Is my head in the way? I can't tell.
More that you start doing that, the more sales that you're going to get. And the reason why I say that is because
tell us.
You might not even get immediate beat sales from those beats, right? The whole point of uploading
flex, you know they're gonna rewind that, hit pause. You already know. Ready? Here it goes. Boop. They're gonna freeze and go, what kind of watches you got on?
The whole point of uploading like those 3 to 5 beats a day instead of like one beat is really just because it's the compound interest over time. So
facts.
when you're uploading 3 to 5 beats a day, there's better chances of you getting seen by other artists. There's better chances.
Let me prove what he's saying, just so for people who don't understand what he's saying. Like, a lot of people talk. We're going on a little mini tangent. I'm just excited to see CG put up content. There's a new site called ViewStats by Mr. Beast. Now, I do YouTube all the time, so this is all I do is like study YouTube. And a lot of people don't realize, like, my channel gets a lot of views per month, not because every single video gets 50,000 views every single video. It's because I have 5,975 videos all doing however many views per day. So that adds up over time. You know, I'm trying to solve as many problems as possible. So I've made almost 6,000 videos to solve as many problems as I could. So when Todd goes to figure out like why his FL Studio is stuttering or why he can't get his kick to mix with the mix or whatever, he'll look up the video and then it solves his problem in that moment, because everybody has different problems depending on what day it is. And I think this tells you. So here in ViewStats, you can see the daily view count per day. So this says like, okay, so across those 5,900 whatever videos, what CG's saying about compound interest is, yeah, those videos might get 100 views per video a day. I don't even know the numbers. It might get 10 views per video a day, whatever the number is, but times 5,000. So that leads to us getting about 50,000 views a day on average across all our videos. So it doesn't matter if the video I post up right now gets 300 views, because ultimately I know that in total it's going to add up. And that's how we're getting like over 1 million views a month on YouTube alone. It's because of the compound interest he's talking about. So that does work. I just wanted to back up what you were saying.
Of you,
I'll put it on 2x
seen
speed.
by other artists on BeatStars, where they might just go check out your whole catalog. Like, for instance, like I got a beat sale today, a Money Man type beat, right? And it was a beat that I made like 3-4 months ago, and it had nothing to do with any of the beats that I was uploading today. Like, it wasn't beat sales from anything that I was uploading today. It was a beat
First of all, looking fit.
that I uploaded.
Hair fresh. That's the one thing about content. Like, if I ever put my face in the video, I'm like, I have to have a haircut. I can't look bummy, because I can't even watch it if I look bummy. How's it feel to get a gold from YouTube? The gold plaque back there, I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't feel the way people probably expect, because it was such a journey to get here. By the time you get here, you're like, freak. So it took me a while to kind of get used to the fact that we got a plaque from YouTube. I would like more plaques. I got to see if I could order more. I'm not sure.
4 or 5 months ago. But if I wasn't consistently uploading 3 to 5 beats a day, I probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity to get that beat sale from that beat that I made 4 or 5 months ago, because my chances probably would have been a lot lower of getting seen and a lot lower of just, not getting that beat sale. So, there's many reasons why you should definitely upload, 3 to 5 beats a day. Now, as far as the quantity is like
3 to 5,
80-90% of it, your quality also needs to be 100% though. So if you can't
I'm locked in this video, I'm
kill the beat every
invested.
single time. If you can't upload 100% quality in that amount of quantity that you're uploading every day, then I don't recommend it. The quality is 100% the most important part, but the quantity is also very important too. So, if you could kill a minimum of 3 beats a day,
kill it.
5 beats, 5 is spectacular. Like, you can do that every single day, and they're bangers. Like, definitely
Bangers.
upload as many beats as you can. But that's
You
what I
talk to
recommend.
Chew because you have a little bit of Chew in your voice. Not Chew, like, you know what I mean? Chew, the actual producer. It sounds like you've been talking to Chew. I can't tell. I'm gonna go ahead and say fire. That's my synopsis. We need more. Just those talking videos of just understanding your personality. I think that's what people drop the ball on. They forget, like, we do business with people, and we kind of want to see people be people. That's what I forgot. I didn't go live for a long time, and I was like, why does my audience feel so detached? I was like, oh, I haven't been going live, so I'm not human to them. Who's your favorite producer other than yourself? Teddy Riley probably is the best one, in my opinion. Can you teach me how to write lyrics? Maybe a different day, not right now. All right, so I don't want to lose all the audience going on tangents, but that's life. That's how it works. I make acrobats. Can I also make Afro beats? Can I also apply this technique to my style of beats? I do have some beats on my channel. Yes. Afro beats use a lot of major chords. People created me. Dope. I missed a little bit of the chat. My bad. You want to learn FL? All right, so back to the lesson. I'm gonna hit up the chat in a little bit. Whoops. What did I just do? So what I would do from here, so this would be my finished melody. I'm not gonna touch it more unless I add a MIDI controller to go up another octave and then add like little more top line ear sprinkle things. Because the way the ear works, for those who are saying that your melodies sound repetitive, the actual way our ear works, the cochlea, has little hair cells on it called cilia. and those cilia have to be moved through contrast in order to stay active and engaged. So the more we introduce something that's the same, the less those hair cells move, and our brain kind of just turns it off, basically. And the way we can make those hair cells move is like high frequency to low frequency sweeps. We could do more transient heavy stuff, meaning very pointy stuff, so the volume goes up and down. It's all about contrast. So when it comes to your melody, think contrast, because that's literally the way the ear picks up stuff and engages with it. One last thing I like to do with my melodies is change the key. So I'll hit shift down to change the key out to get a different vibe, or shift up. So let's write in B minor. Now let me show you some keys, some shortcuts. So let's say you guys want to write with piano. If you go into the FL piano roll, go to tools, there's a humanize script. Now this is all default, so let's figure out how to reset. Okay, let's reset that. And let's use the start time offset and the velocity offset. So what it's doing now is randomizing, using, limits, the velocity and the timing of the notes, so that it doesn't feel like everything's like boom, 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 boom. It just sounds kind of basic. So here's with a more humanized touch. Now I would recommend you guys go to the Image Line forums and download the script called No Overlapping Notes or something like that. Because the problem with humanize is that it overlaps notes sometimes. And in FL Studio, if any of your notes in the piano roll overlap, they won't play. So now you got to manually go in and make sure no notes are overlapping. So I'm going to quickly eyeball. If they are, grab the slice tool, hit shift, right click to do a vertical slice. I can see those notes are overlapping. That third chord could be better. Fourth chord, I mean. That dun is kind of boring to me. So let's swap this last chord out. Let's do, hold up. Let's do, so here I'm using tone and pulling that root note up to match. And if it sounds wrong, I'll just switch the chord type. So it sounds wrong to me because that, where we at? E, G. So no, I think C is the one getting in the way here. That could be a better chord. I just don't have time to sit here. Simon Beats is up in here. Who's your dream artist to work with? Myself. I am an artist. Myself. I actually don't really care for many artists like that. I'm just not into the art. Like, when you get into building your own business, you stop celebrity worshiping and you realize very quickly that it's all manufactured through marketing. Once you realize that, you're like, okay, I am the person I want to work with. Your masterclass from August 13th, 2021 was the single most helpful video for me as a beginner getting into producing. Dang, that's a big testimonial. Kim Hotep, thank you. That is a big testimonial right there. Thank you for that. My man was specific. He knew the date, time, location. Really appreciate you. Oh, nah, CG, you're doing the work. I'm just reflecting it back. These are two things you have, which can be taught: patience and humility. It shines through in all that you do. I try to be patient. I could probably be more humble. I'm sure we could all be more humble. Watching a childbirth, that's definitely humbling. Goodness, shout out to my fiance, my beautiful fiance, Day Day DeVille, you guys know her as. Just call her Day Day. And beautiful little chunky Leo. But yeah, watching childbirth is definitely humbling. That will sit you all the way down. Like, as a man, it will sit you all the way down. The Morbid Creator, busy. I am from Kenya, and I am economically strained to the point I can't get a camera. I feel you on that. It's because Western politics. So I post the visualizers with the music, and my FL Studio is not exporting the visualizer. Know why? I post a visualizer with the music, and my FL. I'd recommend. That's a great question. Do I know why the visualizer is not working? I don't, unfortunately. That's the one part of FL I just never studied like that. I apologize, but I'm trying to think of another solution for you. I think that's probably the easiest one, actually, but maybe update the FL 2024. I'm not sure if that will solve it. Yo, Busy, I've seen you've expanded the network. You need any software dudes? You code, bro? You code, Vigo? If you do code, you got to show me, like, what have you created and what do you use? Who's your dream artist to work with? Again, myself. Spontaneous, please, how can I get the cheat sheet? If you go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. You guys want to move into mixing? Is this a good transition? We can move into mixing. I can cover more melody, but one last thing about melody though I want to show you guys is the effects. So a lot of people skip over the effects. Effects are like 90% of modern day melodies. Melodies nowadays aren't really about the theory as much. It's more about the effects. I have my messages turned off. What do you like? What program do you use? What do you use? Juice? Do you use like Rainbow? Do you use Max DSP? Do you code it straight out? Let me know. Becoming a father taught me what unconditional love really means. Yeah, true. Big facts. That's factual. Holy crap, that's so facts. That's big facts. It unlocks a new part of us. Until you have a child, and I'm not criticizing people who haven't had children, but until you have a child, you just don't know what people truly mean by unconditional. Like, you just don't. There's no way to understand it. You just can't theorize. You can't understand the concept. And that's why I respected the Bible a lot more, because I'm like, oh, these father-son analogies make a lot more sense. But you have to be a parent to understand that. You know, and like a lot of their farming analogies were really good. Bro, you make me believe I can make a life from my music somehow, some way, someday. I never found a type of work that makes me truly happy, and music has been in my life since I was born, thanks to my dad. Shout out to your dad, Dubstep NL. Shout out to Pops. He says, anything, React, anything web dev, I'm learning Juice. All right, those are languages I don't even know. So you got to show me what you've created, because in that case, I would have to fully trust you. And I've dealt with that before, where I dealt with the developer. We were partnering on something, and he abandoned the project, and I got screwed. So I'm kind of weary about partnering with folks. Just letting you know. It makes you realize how many people have on Mask. Big facts, I9. I know we're going on a life chat right now, but this is music though. Music is translating life. Super true, I9. I used to have one unanswered text in my phone max, and I would be like, how do people have anything over one unanswered text ever? That used to be my mindset. And then my fiance had our child, and then I have, let me see how many things I have unanswered. Let me see here. Like my phone, I don't even answer the phone anymore. Let me see. Let me go full screen so y'all can see this. All right, so here's all my unanswered stuff. Wait. All right. I think it's in focus. So there's 135 texts that I have not answered. 56 people have called that I have not answered. Let me see. I don't know why this is going out of focus. Shopify is just notifications. My Freshdesk is my customer support emails, so that's how many people emailed me. And then Gmail is just insane. But it went from one unanswered to 100 and something. And I realized very quickly, how do I explain this, is that nothing mattered outside of your family. Like, there's really nothing that matters. Like, I had Wavy Wayne, shout out to Wavy Wayne. He invited me to Mix Nick, which is his kind of like version of Freaknik, but for mixing. Mix Nick, okay, so. Now, it's the most kosher event ever. It's about uplifting people about mixing. But he invited me to be a speaker and was willing to take care of the flight and the stay and everything. And I was like, I can't do it, because there has to be a very, 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 very strong reason why I would have to leave. Or I would have to take my entire family. But so that's what family does. It's like when you have it, you'll stop thinking that everything is outside of you. That's all I gotta say. It's my rant for today. Yeah, by Ezzy. What's that? What is it? Just made my first good melody because of the stream. There we go. Testimonial. Another one coming in. So we're going to move into mixing in a second. I just wanted to talk to y'all for a second. Thanks to Goregur for another testimonial. Just made my first good melody because of this stream. Y'all are hooking me up with these testimonials today. Feeling lucky. Yeah, I don't know what web dev is, to be honest. I've heard of React before. So, all right, so let's get back to the teaching. I know the Gmail's crazy. Not me over here with 100,000 emails unanswered. It is kind of wild. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I don't mind showing you some of my work. Most notable work has been the Smart HQ application on the App Store, which controls kitchen equipment. The heck? Wait, do you make plugins or you make just apps in general? Now I'm lost. Sending love from South Africa. Shout out to you, my brother. My brother. Okay, one last thing before we move into mixing is that mixing is part of melody. So I'll show you guys a couple things. You guys have seen this already. Excuse me, Fruity Delay 3, turn the wet level all the way up. Feedback level down, delay time down. Everything else becomes an effect. Oh, he says he writes code. Soldier. That's like me. Like I make beats. I can do pop. You need me to do reggae? I'll figure it out. Cool. Yeah, I'm working with program that kind of follows like a JavaScript type language, but it's like a customized language. So that's what I'm working with right now. Desktop apps, games, web applications, learning plugins with Juice right now. Y'all hit up Vigo Beats. I'm sure we could figure something out, but right now it's just me doing the coding until I figure out like how to work with folks and make it a good system. But I'm sure we'll figure something out over time. So shout out to you for letting me know. Vigo Beats is a TypeScript. You're asking questions that are above my pay grade, sir. I'm not sure. That's a great question. I don't know. I'm just learning JavaScript. Like I just learned console.log. Like I'm very new to JavaScript. Equals 5. This is me right now. That's me. I don't even think we needed to put the things around the 5 to print 5. What am I doing? See what I mean? Shoot, y'all might be able to do business with Vigo, do some products with Vigo. So anyhow, what I'm showing you guys is you basically have an RC20 pitch wobble right inside of Fruity Delay 3. You could blend the dry level in for a Corsi effect. You could even lower the low pass filter here. Let's swap out the sound. This sounds a little too full for what I'm trying to do. And then we'll move into mixing. So here's before. Here's after. That's pretty full for like, you wouldn't need that many notes in my opinion. I'm just showing you guys what you could do. Rage beats like Ghostbane. In short, the rage beats comes down to this. It comes down to what's called the perfect fifth. So wherever you start, doesn't even matter where you start. We'll just start at G. C, I mean. Count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then copy that note down an octave. This is called quintal harmony. I teach this in my music theory magic course at busyworksbeats.com/music theory magic. Music theory magic. Okay, something called quintal harmony. This is what creates the rage sound. These are called power chords, by the way. Now I have a pitch wobble on, so let me turn this off. Hold on. So that's the rage sound. You just swap out the sound for more of a guitar tone. But you know what? I have Slayer on this one. Forgot I have FL Slayer. Shout out to FL Slayer one time. Let's turn this down. So that's how you get that sound. Okay, that's quintal harmony. I teach that in my music course, my music theory magic course. You have a tutorial on rage beats. People have been saying, yeah, it's a really good beat. Learn Python is very useful for these days. Yeah, Python's my favorite language. That made me love coding. Python is just my favorite written code. It's just so well written, in my opinion. Thank you. I'll be around, brother, if you need help with any coding. Thank you. I am in this for the long run, so let's build some cool stuff. Dope. I might even come to consult you about stuff, because there's little stuff that I'm missing that I know somebody else could probably simplify, but I don't even know how to look it up. So thank you, Vigo Beats. Shout out to you. I'm gonna screenshot your thing. Like, remember you said you would help? It's like, nah. I'm definitely willing to get consults, because information is not free. All right, we're about to move into mixing, so let's shout out from India. Is there any way I can get any recognition without posting my music, without actual videos, but with the visualizer in this day and age? Without posting my music and without videos. I don't see how else you would get known for your music if you don't post your music. Maybe I'm missing what you're saying, but to me that sounds like a fallacy. You want to get known for music that nobody can hear? Maybe I'm hearing you wrong. OJ is here. This is so nostalgic. Remember watching your video 6 years ago on FL Studio. Now we have 24. Hip hop ish. I learned from you. Thank you for that. Love from Punjab, India. Shout out to Hritik Prabhakar. I'm saying that right. Probably saying that wrong, but shout out to you. Another testimonial. Y'all are just gifting me testimonials today. Thanks. Thanks. You got any advice on getting better in constructing drum loops? Marty Minning is here. What up? Drum loops? Not for this stream, but maybe a different stream. I feel good with lower BPM, like 85 to 100, but I want to explore something with higher BPMs. I feel it's my natural tempo, but I'm finding it hard to create anything faster. Wait, let me see what your problem is. I feel good with lower BPMs, but I want to explore something with higher BPMs. I feel it's my natural tempo, but I'm finding it hard to create anything faster. You mean for like beats? Instead of whatever BPM you're at, just double it and produce in halftime. So like, for example, if I'm at 140 BPM, we're really at 70 BPM. Depending on where we put the snare determines the actual BPM. So if I put the snare on the 3 and the 7, we're actually producing at 70 BPM. We're just using a faster grid for hi-hat rolls and stuff like that. So whatever tempo you're trying to move up to, produce in that tempo. So let's say your tempo is 85. We're going to go to 85 times 2, which is what, 170, and make that your new tempo, because technically it's 85, and you'll start to slowly kind of adapt the halftime approach to everything. Anyone have the Discord link? Yeah, here's the Discord. All right, so who wants their beat mix? Now the thing is, if you guys want your beat mix today, we have how many people in here? We have 50 people in here, so we have to keep them entertained. Your beat has to be good, okay? Because last time we tried to mix a beat that was not good, and it literally gave me a headache. So if your beat is good, and only if you have the multi-tracks. If you don't know what multi-tracks are, this isn't the time to submit. All right, so you want to post it in our Discord. Just go to discord.gg/BusyWorksBeats. Go to the top where it says BusyWorksBeats. Click on where it says show all channels. Once you guys see everything on the left side, you want to go to where it says loops. And I'd recommend posting in like the trap loops section. And you want to send your multi-tracks for your beat. Okay, so that's where we're going to be checking it out. Again, if you don't know what multi-tracks are, just save them, because I had to teach people how to do it the other day and it was tedious. Also, try to zip up your multi-tracks so that I could just download it all in one click instead of clicking individual things. And lastly, put your name on it so I know who's who. So we do have a track from yesterday that we can mix, but before we get into all that, let's find a vocal. Now these tracks are from 2020. I think I have one from like, let me see. Let me remember where I even put those projects on my computer. We have 808s and Mermaid. Is this? No, it's only one track. It's not even in there. Okay. We'll do song feedback on Fridays. Right now, I don't want to do all that because it triggers the copyright thing and it makes it a hassle on my end. That's why I'm not playing it. Let's do project. Where did I even keep my stuff? Like, I was so disorganized in 2020. There's like 1,000 folders. I don't even know what is what. Let's go to, well, here's some stems. 808s and Mermaids. Wow, okay. These might be the stems from my old tracks. Let's do Fly On, Keep Going. I don't even remember my own songs. Oh, they're not in here. Dang, nothing's in there anyway. Oh, you know what? Wait, that might be looking for the wrong file type. Give me a second, y'all. Hold up. We're pulling up some stems. Ron stems. Oh shoot, I got my stems from 2020. I didn't know I had these. All right, I don't know when I had these last, but okay, so I have a song called Run Off on the Plug, and here are the multi-tracks. So we're gonna use my own project that I had back out in 2018. I took the project down for many different reasons, but let's use this and we'll mix this. So here's the track. Now this isn't the, actually let's do We Love. That one was, people like that one a lot more. So hopefully I didn't mix the vocals already. We'll see. Have you ever made a beat on your phone? I mess with the iPad. I make beats with my son sometimes. It's fun. What do you think about the master bus chain? Simple. What is PSX split? I don't know what that is. OTT for lowering mids. I wouldn't put OTT on a master bus. I guess it just depends on the sound. T-Rax clipper. I like that soft clipper at the end. I just would, I don't know what that PX split does. I feel like you could do more on your master, but I mean, it depends on what, like where your song is. Sometimes you don't need a bunch of stuff. Have you ever made a beat on your phone? Yes. Can you do up? We'll do that on Friday. Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern time is our song feedback. All right, so let's see what this sounds like first. So this is from my old project called 808s and Mermaids. It's taken down from all streaming, so you guys can't listen to this anywhere. So here's the like original. Let me run this.
We love, shout out in the good, we love, yeah.
Let's go.
Dirty London,
Gotta have this.
that shit dirty like the Anna, cruising, got it dirty like the Nana, in the country like.
And by the way, I freestyled this whole album. I wrote to a couple songs, but that was it. Where you from? I'm from outside of Philadelphia.
We love, shout out in the good, we love, yeah. Dirty London, ratchet, that shit dirty like the Anna, cruising, got it dirty like the Nana.
When I found out that that was through Gross Beat, and it was such a unique sound. Sorry, I just gotta hear this again.
That shit dirty like the Anna, cruising, got it dirty like the Nana, in the country like it's grandma.
I was working magic with that Gross Beat back then. What up, Mobbin? Is it right that you can get every instrument or sound you want with Citrus? I mean, theoretically, yeah, but not really, no.
Let me get it in, let me turn it up. Let me get it in, cause we turning up. I'ma break it down, cause we turning up. Yellow cup, yellow cup, yellow cup. Double cup, yeah, with the syrup dripping. Got the girl tipping and she twerking it. And the work in it.
Alright, so we get the gist of the song. It's basically, it has a lot of dynamic. The bass is distorted and the vocals kind of low. So let's see what we can do to revise the mix. Now again, I don't know if the vocals on here are already mixed. Let me see.
We love.
Yeah, it already has all the delay on it, so it's probably already mixed, but we can make it a little bit better. Mixing the 808 and the bass. I already have videos on that. Type in like mix kick with 808 BusyWorks beats. I have videos on that. Recent videos too on YouTube. Search that up in YouTube. Yeah, we were freestyling through auto-tune. So Only thing is this is already mixed, so I can only do so much. So the first thing we're gonna do is focus on this 808. Let's send everything to the mixer. Say Control L. So we saw how loud the beat is without cranking everything up. What I usually do is just crank stuff up first. And I ask what's missing. So let's go to Fruity Fab Filter, Pro Q3. I like to boost 60 and 75 hertz. This is my favorite thing for the sub. Let's boost up. Let's see which one we're closer to. It looks like 75 or closer to that. Boost this up. Just to add that vibration to the car. It just adds that extra little thing. Okay, so that's my technique. When you taught me how to use Sylenth 1. Yeah, Sylenth 1 was my whole sound design. My first sound design course was on Sylenth 1. Man, we've blown past Sylenth. Now Serum took over. But thank you for even being that loyal to be here still. On the iPad, can Logic pull up on the iPad? I've never done that on the iPad. I use Koala on the iPad. It's more of like a groove box than it is a DAW, but I find that fun. And also there's one called Beatmaker 3, I think. Or I always mix those up. It's either Cubasis, I think it's Cubasis actually. Has pretty good sounds in it. I know I gave you a bunch, but I don't really produce on my iPad like that. I just have fun on it. Mixing is kind of sound design. They kind of go on hand in hand or whatever. So now we have the bass. Another plugin you guys want to check out, even though it's already distorted, there's another plugin called Decapitator. If you don't have Decapitator from Soundtoys, there's another one called Radiator. Hopefully this pulls up. Let me see, y'all. Decapitator. I swear I did this with select license. You don't have any license in your account. Yes, I do. In your account, or none of the licenses. If you show locations, they're on my MacBook. I have to choose between places. These lists show locations where you. My iLock. Maybe I need to plug in my iLock. Do I even have? This is what I mean. iLock is such a headache. Companies, if y'all use iLock, stop using iLock. It is the most frustrating thing ever. Well, F that plugin then. Never mind. But Decapitator would be a good one. Radiator for your 808s. Also, there's a plugin called Spectre. I could use this one, but so now we're just shaping the tone. What makes a beat good? I mean, that's the question of the universe, isn't it? Sorry to change the subject, but I think it would be super useful if you made a video on how to create music production videos. I have a video on that. Type in, I think it's called like how to screen record on PC, BusyWorks Beats. I have a video about it, including what equipment is needed and the types of content. Equipment needed, I mean, you don't really need anything but a microphone and an audio interface. If anything, you guys can plug up your iPhone headphones right into your computer. You don't even need equipment. Just need your computer. I film my shorts right off my phone, like using my phone mic. I just put my phone up to my screen. I use CapCut. If anything, you need to have CapCut. If you don't have CapCut, you're behind by miles. All right, let's get back to the mixing. I feel you. I should do more social media content type stuff. I actually have it at busyworksbeats.com, but I'm creating a content agency, so if you are making content, come join us on Discord. I'm looking to recruit new folks, and then I'll teach them and skill them up. How many plugins do you have? Probably 2,000. So this hi-hat is fine. So as you guys can probably see, we're just leveling right now. We're not doing anything crazy. So right here, the kick and the 808 are trying to play at the same time, and they're clashing. Let's find the kick. Let's find the 808. Go to your kick in the mixer. Right click. Side chain to this track. Find your 808. Let's open up what's called FabFilter Pro Q3. You can do this in many different ways. I'm just showing you guys one way. And here we need to go to the cog icon, go to the plugin settings, processing, right click, select your kick as the input. So now when the kick hits, it will show where they clash. So this big red line right here, you can see this under analyzer, turn on the collision mode here, and it will show you this big red line where the sounds clash. So let's pull this down and hit auto, and then hit this shape icon. And this will basically make it to where the sidechain input will lower the volume. So I like to do it in increments of 3 dB when I'm doing a dynamic change like this, and then just widen your range or shorten it. So now the kick and the 808 can play at the same time without clashing. Because what happens is the kick and the 808 are like two big people in the room trying to stand in one place. You can't have two big people in the room standing in the same spot. They'll hit each other and knock each other over. And that's what clipping is. Or I mean, that's how clipping begins. Adding waves low air on the 808 or sub bass preset subharmonic mix sounds fire. Dope. That's if your 808 doesn't have anything in the subs. Bro, how collab with rapper? Are you working with famous rappers? How to collab with rappers? You got to get in their sphere of influence. There's no website. There's no like thing you guys could do outside of just getting in front of that rapper, period. You could do that through content. You could do it through signing to a label. There's many ways, many ways. Let's add a standard clip to this kick. Shape this tone of the kick a little bit. Do I have standard clip? Wait. There we go. So now we're adding a little crunch to the kick. I usually do -2. I like Alchemist stuff. Add a little saturation here. Also, this kick is a little hollow. Now, because we did that sidechain technique, I can go in and now add a little bit of sub frequencies to the kick, only if it has presence of the sub in it. You can't add something that's not there. I'm enhancing what's already there. Would you say it's worth it to buy FabFilter Pro Q? I wouldn't jump out of my way to do it. I'm just showing you guys on the best tool that I know of. But do it how you can for now. I wouldn't go out the window and buy everything they have. It might be expensive. I'm dropping my first tutorial video tomorrow. Can I also join the content creator program? I mean, you got to be, we have to make sure it's a match. So not only is it just people make videos, but we got to make sure it actually like is good. I want to make sure it matches with my brand. I want to make sure that we actually can work together. So it's a lot of other things too than just, can you make a video? But I'll keep an eye out for it. Spontaneous. I'll let the Discord know when I'm looking for videos next. Nope. Great question. No. Answer's no. So let's boost up at about 60 hertz. Again, my other favorite frequency, 60 and 75. So now I need to go back to this 808 and I need to make sure they don't clash. So this would be a creative mix where like that builds the sound, that delay throw. That's not a mixing technical technique. It's a creative technique. I'm going to mute my mic as my son is going ham right now. So I'm just letting you guys know why I'm muting. But next, we don't really need to do anything outside of maybe turn it up. With the new frequency splitter. Yeah, I wouldn't do it that way. I mean, you could, but I guess you could. Let me think. Is that a good way to do it? I wouldn't do it that way. I would use the parametric EQ2 and I would use a peak controller and I would have the parametric EQ2 in a patcher. I would have the parametric EQ2 set to whatever frequencies overlap, and then every time the kick hits, it will lower the volume. I wish FL Studio would just man up and make a dynamic EQ. I don't know why they're like stalling on that. I don't know. But that's something that they need to add. I don't know why it's not a default plugin. Can you help me with sound selection for each genre? That's more so like studying. Every song is completely different. So There's no like cookbook, like how to make yeet beats. I mean, there's like a starting point, but then there's still, every song is completely different. And every genre is completely different. Really, if you guys want to get better at sound selection, the key is actually listen to more sounds. Like if you don't know what a violin sounds like, it's going to be hard to say I need more violin in this if you don't know what a violin sounds like. So the first thing is actually listen to more sounds. I know it sounds simple, but it's like a definition. If I tell you the word ubiquitous and you don't have a definition for the word ubiquitous, you can't use it in a sentence because you have no idea what it means. So it's like you want to use more words in your sentences, but you don't know words. You gotta learn more words. Thank you, peace. All right, so let's get back to it. I just letting you know if I mute my mic, telling you, okay. So this doesn't really need anything added to it. It's already wide. Let's turn it up a little bit. And what I'll do if I start clipping on the master, I'll add something that crunches the clipping. So like a saturator, you guys could use a limiter. I'm gonna use, I think I have gold clip on here. What is this? Please go to, no. This better work. Don't tell me this doesn't work. Bruh. iLok is effing up so many companies. Companies work with iLok. I'm about to have a whole producer protest about iLok. That is the worst company. I mean, I respect the company for what they do, but like it gives the most headaches out of all the plugins that I have. I don't think I saved that project either. Oh my God. Freaking iLok. So let's quickly mix. Show you guys how like standard the mixing I did was. So again, we're trying to add standard technical mixing to something that is creative already. A lot of you guys, when you're asking to learn mixing, you're asking about technical stuff, but keep in mind that there's also a creative side to mixing, and your production is the creative side to mixing. So you do know mixing, you just don't know where, like, the final way to take it. Okay. So I'm gonna move quicker here because we lost that last project due to iLok. Goodness, man. We got a campaign to stop iLok. This is insane. Is it better to mix the drums first? It depends on the song. Like, drums are not always the most important thing in every song. So only if that thing is important do I think it should take priority. In this song, the bass was the most important thing, so that's why I started with the bass, to make sure that it had its own space, its own room. Then I moved everything else. All right, so let's quickly do what I did before. So for the 808, I think I had the parametric EQ2. It was when I was in competition, I make the best music. That's when I make my best stuff, when I'm competing against somebody. 75, let's boost this up. So again, this is the 808. This is the rumble frequency. This is what gets the car shaken, the haptic frequency. I put that on the complete wrong track. Hold up. You said as a starving producer. Why do you call yourself starving? That sounds crazy. Starving producer. As a starving producer, what's the first thing I need to do to make some cash after making the beats? I have a lot of videos about how to sell beats. And I'm not saying this to brush you off. It's because you have to go through a lot of mindset stuff first. It's not like click this button, do this, and then you're gonna sell beats. You have to learn all the mindset stuff first. You have to change your expectations right now, because your expectations, for one, you said you're starving. That's red flag number one. For two, you said make money right now. And that's a very desperate way to go about business. Like, just because you create something does not mean you deserve money at all. Your job as a content creator, as a business person, is to solve other people's problems. It's not about you. So until you get that ingrained in your brain, you're not gonna make money like that. But there's other things you gotta learn too. So just type up how to sell beats, BusyWorks beats. It'll pull up a lot of videos. Autogun presets. Yeah, Autogun has like 2 million presets. But yeah, I will work on that mindset. Are you using a physical iLok? I used to, but I just think iLok is such a hassle. I didn't even know you could put stuff on your computer. It's on my MacBook. It's a long story. I ran out of USB ports, so I can't plug in the USB just to unlock a plugin. So that's why I'm like frustrated about the iLok thing. Like, companies think that paying somebody to secure a plugin is going to make them more money. It's just going to make people mad. I don't get it. I don't know why they do it. Okay, so there's that. Do you know where I can find any sounds, preferably be free, in our Discord? Also type into Reddit. Like, if you guys want different drum kits, like sound selection practice, just type in like whatever the genre is, go to Reddit, type in reggae drum kit, Reddit. You know, reggaeton drum kit, Reddit. You're gonna find somebody who compiled all the sounds for you. 4+ years and ain't sold one yet. Been selling for 4+ years and ain't sold one yet? What's that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm missing something. Let's go to hi-hats, turn these up. I'm gonna do the same trick. I'm gonna move quicker here because again, we already did this. Whoops, I don't know what I just clicked. Slice EQ, what is this? Oh, is this the plugin that dude was talking about, Slice? Well, here's a unique plugin. This is free too from the Kilohertz bundle. I didn't even know about this Slice EQ. It looks like it could do mid-side. That's pretty dope. I might have to look into this. I just clicked it randomly. This might be the plugin you guys need. I wonder if it's dynamic. Let me see. That's kind of, I don't know what's happening here though. If it is dynamic, that'd be super crazy. It says sidechain, so I think it is. Who knows? I'm gonna look into that later. So Slice EQ, you learn, you live and you learn. Let me take a screenshot. I didn't even know that was on my computer. Slice EQ. So that was a happy accident. So let's switch this over to FabFilter. How many people we got in here? I gotta be entertaining y'all. I'm gonna move quicker, I promise. Let's go to 60 hertz for the kick. Again, 60 and to 75 hertz, that's where your car vibrates. Same way your phone vibrates at like 200 hertz. So right now the kick and the 808 are clashing. Go to your kick, right click sidechain to this track. Open up a new FabFilter Pro Q. We're gonna now go to low latency mode, switch the settings here. Go to processing, right click, select your kick as the input. Let's save just in case. Now go to the bottom here where it says collision mode, turn this on, the little red icon. It will show you where the kick and the 808 clash. So they clash in this zone right here. It tells us exactly where they clash. Turn this down and then set auto and then hit the little trigger button. So now every time the kick hits, it will lower the 808 in this zone. I like to work in increments of 3. So whether it's negative 3 dB, 6 dB, etc. So that way the kick and the 808 can both live in the same spot without clashing. Okay, let's add a little crunch to the kick with some standard clip. And I'm moving kind of quick here because we already did this. On my BeatStars, I made my beats available to download for free for nonprofits, and I notice a lot of people download and use them, but don't buy them. Should I stop doing that? You don't always have to give away your product as the free thing. You can give away tips and tricks, like guides. You can give away different things. You don't always have to give an artist a beat as the exchange. Like, just think of it like dating. Like, would you give your body up every day for free? Like, you can take your customers on, I'm saying metaphorically, you know, on a date per se. You don't need to like go all the way. You know, it's like, that's what dating is, right? So it's the same thing in marketing. You need to figure out what do they value and how can you lead them to their desired outcomes, and then guide them up to understand that your thing is the solution to get them to their desired outcome. You could give away free beats, but I mean, first of all, how many people are on your email list? because if you say like less than 2,500, then your email list isn't big enough yet. You know, if I connect analog Mr. to L, you would have to select your outputs down here in the bottom, this thing down here, and select your outputs that way and send it to your mixer. So you could do each track. I don't know how your audio interface is set up, but you can do outputs from FL to something else through your audio interface down here at the bottom of the mixer. So now the entire track is clipping because that kick and 808 are stacking up a lot of energy. So let's use something on the master track. In this case, we'll just use standard clip since gold clip isn't loading up. And now we're just taming those peaks. So the main thing I'm worried about in this case is the dynamic. Does the beat still feel like there's enough headroom? Can you do a tutorial for FL24? Yes. So now we're gonna say, can I hear everything? The bass is trying to like take over, so let's pull it back a little bit. Not really much to mix in here. So I think the hi-hat's a little too loud.
That when she twerking it, and the work in it, burping it. Got it perfect, I'm bursting it. Got it bursting like virgins.
Mix is alright. Okay, so let's say you want to mix your vocal. Here's a really simple chain that the concept applies to a lot of stuff. We're going to use the 1176. I think I have it on here. I better have it on here. Yeah, the Rev A, the Blueface one. This is similar to the Blueface on CLA 76. You guys can't really see it, but put the attack to about 3, which is a slower attack. Put the release to fast. What this does behind the scenes is it adds more harmonic to the vocals. So the more release you have, the faster the release. On this plugin, the more harmonic content it builds out. Harmonics are basically multiples of a frequency. So if you have a frequency at 100, the second harmonic is 2 times 100. The third harmonic is 3 times 100. The fourth harmonic is 4 times 100, like that. It's just filling up more frequencies. So it makes the sound feel more filled out. So the faster you have the release and attack, the more harmonics you get out of it. How long does it take you to make a beat? Depends on the beat. Almost 1,200 on my email list, but quarter of that replies and actual purchase. But a quarter of that, that's pretty high. So if 25% are actually buying, then that's really high. You just got to know what to expect. This is what I mean about mindset. Expectations determine your reality. So, okay, you have 1,200 on the email list. Usually the conversion rate is 1%. So that's where that's what reality is. Like usually 1% is that bar. If you're above 1%, that's great. If you're below 1%, we need to figure out why you're not converting. Where's Hercules owners at? We only have a couple people in this chat. Might not be enough in here. They're probably making beats with Hercules right now. I want to make a beat next because mixing is kind of technical. But yeah, if you have 1,200 people on your email, you figure 10 to 20% open up the email, and you figure 10% of that even click. So that's basically 1% of your entire email list will ever see your stuff. So that's how the numbers work out. If you guys have questions, let me know. So here's the first plugin for vocals. For the person who asked about vocal mixing, you just crank your input. Now keep in mind the vocals are already mixed, so you don't want to overly do it. And then we have Pro L2 from FabFilter, any limiter. So it's compressor, limiter. Specifically the first compressor because it adds a certain amount of harmonics that just sound good to the ear. And then L2 is just the final thing to make it loud. It's to sit over top of the beat.
Love, yeah, dirty honey.
Now the vocals are loud. We're just gonna pull the fader down.
Love, yeah, dirty honey. And she dirty like Diana.
Now this vocal has like a certain hollowness sound to it. because I already mixed it in the other session. So we need to figure out where that hollowness is. It's somewhere from like 2500 hertz to about 500. In this case, we're going to use a dynamic EQ and just shave that down. We could put it in between, so let's say 3500, somewhere in that general range. Widen the Q.
Love, yeah, 3000 in it. Ratchet, extra dirty like Diana. Cruising, got it.
Really, the hollow sound comes from me using too much high pass filter, and that's what hollows out the sound. But again, we can only do but so much.
Love, yeah, 3000 in it.
What we could do to kind of rebalance it is boost up what's called the fundamental frequency, or the lowest point of the vocal. That way, the upper harmonics aren't taking over.
Love, yeah, 3000 in it. Ratchet, extra dirty like Diana. Cruising, got it dirty like the Nana.
So nobody would think to take out that much volume
Love,
of the highest.
yeah, 3000 in it. Ratchet, extra dirty like Diana. Cruising, got it dirty like the Nana. In the country like it's grandma.
I'm gonna do that before all this stuff. Let's see if that.
Love, yeah, 3000 in it. Ratchet, extra dirty like Diana.
Still get that hollowed sound, that tinny sound, because of the way I did the high pass filter when I recorded. That's why a better recording is much better than trying to fix it in the mix. You can't really undo the metallic sound of a thinned out vocal. All right, so that's that. That was kind of boring to mix that, but let's try.
Love, yeah, 3000 in it.
Start adding this stuff on the master
Extra
track.
dirty like Diana. Cruising,
So right
got
now,
it dirty.
another plugin people overlook is de-essing. So I'm going to use Weiss de-esser only because we could use, what is this? License. Oh my goodness. This better not crash FL. FL's not responding. Come on, dog. All right, we're going to use the Pro FabFilter Pro DS instead. Let's move that out the screen.
Love, yeah,
So de-essing is another thing about vocals that people overlook. They think they want to brighten their vocals, but they don't realize they're overly doing too much.
love,
But this is what's making it sound metallic.
love, yeah, 3000 in it. Ratchet, extra dirty like Diana. Cruising, got it dirty like the Nana. In the country like it's grandma. Hold on, if you hear me, let me get it too. Writing letters on me, let me get it too. Just keep it.
Every song is different. There's no goal. I mean, it's a great question. I would say the goal is just to feel the track. That sounds vague because it is, but the ultimate goal is just like, does this sound the way I want it to sound? I know that sounds so simple, but people think that you need to have all this stuff on your mix all the time. I'm like, some songs just sound better bad. Like, they don't sound better good. So it depends. Everything's different. Hopefully, I'm just trying to draw the line between showing technical mixing versus creative mixing. Creative mixing is production, basically. Technical mixing is compression, EQ, delays to a limiters like that. But FL just crashed on me. FL said, if you ain't gonna close it, I'll close it myself. Oh my gosh. I guess y'all guys got the gist. Let me see if there's another project we could open up. What do you guys want to do next? Mixing or making a beat? You guys can let me know. I'll do a poll real quick. All right, you guys get the vote. Should we mix something or do you want to make a beat? Shout out to the 50 folks in here. I need y'all to smash the like button to keep the party rocking. I have no idea where I used to put my project files. That's gonna bother me. Roddy Ricch Musical Trap. Darn, it's hard drives from 2020, so I'm trying to recall like where is my stuff. Data, maybe it's in data. Projects. Maybe I put it in here. Hold on. 2017. Now that seems like a long time ago. 2015. I'm surprised I even saved my stuff from back then. Oh wait, here's some 2020 projects. Hold up. Wait. I don't even know what this is. Orchestra. Let's see if it even loads up. The project data doesn't exist. The project file will have been moved. Okay, maybe I use another hard drive. Last backup, if you know. To drill. All right, you guys want to make a beat? Mixing getting boring. Let's make a beat. If your project ever loads and gets stuck, hit the escape button and it will skip whatever is like taking forever to find. Or you can just hold escape and it will skip everything. Oh, I see waves. It's gonna crash my FL. Okay, it didn't crash. Okie doke. Let's make a beat. We need to get pumped up. Now the question is, what genre beat though? So drill is at 144 BPM. It's all about tresillo and it's about the counter snare. So a counter snare is basically a snare that's high pass filtered to sound like a hi-hat. You might get something like this snare and then run it to the mod X under the envelope tab, switch this to a high pass filter, lower your filter. This is called a counter snare. And you're gonna do tresillo, so it's ta, 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 ta. And just repeat that, it's not triplets. You can do it right in your channel rack like this. So that's what drill is all about. That's the whole drill sound. Can you show different types of 808 patterns? I mean, there's tresillo is the main pattern you need to understand. We'll do like some kind of club drill sound, 2000 bounce. Let me know in the comments what style you guys want to do. First, I'll do like club drill. Man, I don't know why I'm so tired right now. Jungle beats, holla at me. Old school trap beats. Jello beats, holla at me. 2000s drum bounce. Make a beat with some heavy guitar sounds. Maybe we could, I'm trying to think, can we do drill with guitar? That might be too aggressive. We got to come to a consensus. We have a lot of styles here. We have drill club, we have 2000s drum bounce, old school trap beats, jungle beats, heavy guitar, heavy synth trap, opium style, JPEG Mafia, Lex Luger. We have more about trap than we have about drill. Y'all got to come to a consensus. Y'all got to come to an agreement. Lex Luger's all about the brass. Doozy's in here. He heard heavy guitar. He's like, Doozy appeared. Let me show you guys some plugins that will inspire you a little bit. There's a guy. Oh my goodness. Breezy bruh. If I click another plugin that F's up FL, all properly though. But if you look up the guy HG Fortune, he had passed away, but he makes plugins and they're super ethereal sounding. They're like super weird sounding, but they sound great. So let me pull up some of his stuff. Just out of nostalgia. He passed away though. His plugins are still available. Make a Suicide Boys type beat. Why can't this load? Can't load. How is that true when I just... Maybe FL24 can't 21 because 2024 is getting on my nerves. Okay. See, it loads up in 21 and not 2024. Tell them boys at FL to get it right. All right, I don't know why my screen is so zoomed in. Never mind. It ain't worth doing all this. Forget it. PC users, I don't know how y'all. Don't get frustrated every day with stuff not working on your computer. Suicide Boys type beat. Connect. You're not born in London. All right. So the gist that I'm hearing is like trap. So I'll start with trap and then we might talk about other stuff. Yeah, I had it zoomed in because it's called the scaled version. So for trap, we're going to look at Expand 2, for example. This is a great plugin that kind of has the gist of stuff that you guys need without spending $1,000 on sounds. Yeah. But the best plugin I would recommend is Roland Cloud. And look at Zenology. They have a bunch of other plugins, but the Zenology one is the one that you guys probably are looking for. Now let's go to the brass and woodwinds. And let's start here. So we're gonna play low octave. You want to think dark octaves. So let's go down to let's go to like 130, 140 BPM. I think the older FL started at 130 BPM. The newer one started at 140 BPM. So we're gonna start at 130 as if we're like Lex Luger back in the day. And we're gonna go down to the bottom here. Play really low notes. Now the key is just going up one note. It's that simple. It's called a half step. Now I'll show you guys the music theory, but now we'll swap out the brass too. But let's do the half step and then we're gonna do the same exact notes on top. Let's start at A. Now for the brass, you don't want to do a bunch of notes here. Now swap out the brass to get a more aggressive brass sound. So that's the key, is that heavy brass. Even Metro kind of has this sound now. Let me turn that down. Even Metro kind of uses more film score type sounds now, because his stuff can be placed in film now that he has a brand. So it's all about brass basically, and just playing really low octaves. Let me save this real quick. Now Lex Luger also was known for his, it's called the ham snare. Hard as a motherfucker, let these girls know who I am. That track, it's this snare right here. Okay, so it's probably the hardest snare in all of music production. I don't think there's a snare that's louder or harder than this one. So that's the snare right there. It's basically a Native Instruments snare cranked up. So Native Instruments actually made that snare in their battery library. A lot of people don't know that. So let's go to the playlist. Let's drag the brass in. So the brass in this case would be considered our contrast layer if you're following our techniques from earlier. And the contrast layer's job is to play the opposite of stuff. So it's going to play the low frequencies in this case. We're going to go to pattern 2 and put the snare on the 3 and the 7 count. If you don't know how to count, go to your pattern mode, turn on the metronome, and just count. Every time you hear a beat, it's 1. So it's 1, 2, 3. So we're going to count 3 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the trap bounce. Really simple. 3 and the 7 count. Watching from Morocco. Shout out to you, Vadi. After some time, I'm going to download VSTs too for temporary. I recently got expensive plugins, cracked versions. 11 no viruses, no load on CPU. All right. Coolie. So now we're going to move forward. So now that we have the snare and the brass, they usually would do something very plucky. And I know you guys have heard this melody 1,001 times, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But if you really listen to like the top trap songs, they repeat this melody over and over and over and over and over. It's one of those things where it's like the melody isn't even a melody, it's more of a rhythm than it is a melody. So if we go to some kind of acoustic piano, let's do hard grand piano. Dun, 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 dun. You guys have heard that. Now, what is this? If you actually map the music theory out, hit Control L to make sure notes don't overlap. The music theory of this is we're playing a whole, half, and then we're going up. Whole, whole. So we're playing a minor scale, but skipping out on the 4th of that minor scale. We're really playing, if you guys want to get into the deeper music theory, B, D, and F sharp. What is that? B minor. It's a minor chord. So so if you were here since the beginning of this live stream, you'll realize very quickly that melody comes from harmony most of the time. So we're really playing a minor chord, B, D, F sharp. That's a B minor chord. And then we're adding what's called the 9th which is C sharp in this case. What is the ninth? It's 7 notes up from the perfect fifth. What's the perfect fifth? 7 notes up from the root note. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're adding another note, 7 notes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I told you guys 7 is the lucky number. You just pull that note down an octave. My voice is getting kind of dry, so let me drink something real quick. All right, so now we're just gonna lock this into whatever key we're in. So I think we started at A. So we're gonna copy that entire pattern down to A. It's where we started basically. Hit shift down and just repeat this. This has been the pattern for so many songs. It's just a minor add 9 chord. Let's add this in. I'm probably going to go up 1 octave because it's not standing out. So at this point, it's up to you guys how you add your 808s. Now we just got to record in our 808. It's pretty easy. All my go-to drums are for free. So go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. If you want to record your typing keyboard, you don't have a MIDI keyboard, just right-click your typing keyboard. Let's go to C4 and then go to piano. That's the default. You could also hit reset and it will do all that for you. Now we can use our typing keyboard as long as this is on. My comma is middle C. So now I'm going to record. What up, DQ and low. Let me show you guys how to quantize triplets. So this is more of an intermediate. Appreciate y'all. Waka Flocka vibes. Funny. 2012 vibes for real. So what we're going to do is go to every time we play triplets, change your snap to grid to 1/3 beat. Highlight all your triplets. Hit Control Shift to highlight multiple stuff. So here, I think I played triplets. And then I played triplets over here. So every time I have triplets, we're going to hit Control Q. It will lock it to the snap to grid value, which is 1/3 beat. Hit Control Q. So now the triplets will be quantized. Now I can change it back to a half beat or whatever. Highlight the other notes. Hit Control Shift to highlight those other notes. And hit Control Q to quantize those. I missed a triplet here. Wait, that's not a triplet. My bad. Wrong grid. So here I quantized it to the quarter beat. So that's what happens if you play a triplet and you quantize it to a quarter beat, it will mess it up. So let's say I want to like add stutters in here in the new FL Studio 24. You can go down to the bottom where it says Control. If you don't see this, grab your ellipses, left click, pull this up, go to where it says Control, go to where it says Note Repeat, and then now we can do glitches right inside of FL Piano Roll. So I want a Note Repeat right here. Okay, so that's how you add note repeats in the new FL 24. It's pretty useful to do it that way. You could also do it in the channel rack in the graph editor over here in the top right. There's a repeat tab, and you can also do that with your hi-hats. So let me go back to the hi-hats. or I don't even have hi-hats yet. Let's add some hi-hats in here. Let's right click, open up a new channel, hit Control L. In the channel rack, you could right click to select how many bars you want. So let's say 8 bars, which is really 4 bars. We're gonna right click, fill each 2 steps, and now we're gonna have a nice thing we can just copy and paste. Now you could also do that note repeat in the channel rack using the graph editor. It's a tongue twister. So in the top right, we can go here, but because we have 4 bars, it's hard to see it all in one. So I'm gonna right click, go to piano roll, and do it this way, the old way. So now we have hi-hat rolls. Let's add Fruity Soft Clipper on the master real quick, just so we don't clip. Soft clipping is to the left with the threshold, hard clipping is to the right. Now we got a level. So we still need like some kind of, we could layer more brass in here. Really, those are the layers. Everything else is kind of like background stuff. So maybe in a Lex Luger beat, you might hear like some ethereal background sounds. It's more of Metro's thing, but let's see what else we could add in here. Maybe some ambient. Let's do, what would I add to this beat? I don't even know really. We could do mallets and then halftime the mallets. What's the name of the brass? It's Expand 2. The preset is called, it's hard to read. The preset is called Big Section from Expand 2, from the brass. Let's layer that though. Control C, Control V. Let's layer the brass. Now I'm layering it with a mallet. And it's adding like a subtle off tone. What we could do is run this through kilohertz free plugins. Let's try pitch shifter. Let's pull this up an octave. Turn the mix level down. Turn the grain size up. Let's add bit crusher. Let's right click. Let's make it 40K at 12 bit. Right click, 12. This is just my own style. Turn the quality up. We could also run it through the reverser, kilohertz reverser. We could also run that through gross beat. Preset momentary half speed. So we either sound terrible with it or let's hear it in context though. One, it sounds more out of key because we're not using a tonal belt. So it's a little like out of key, but it's not to where it's killing the vibe. Let's try different bells. We just need a bell that's like very shimmery sounding. Trying to think of what sound actually that would be. I don't use this plugin a lot, so let's just try out different presets. I might even use a synth. Let's see what they got in their synth section here. So, I mean, that's the Lex Luger approach. You guys can get more specific about little stuff. Let's move on to another genre. How long have we been live, first of all? 2 hours and 20 minutes? Oh, crap. I got about 40 minutes left in me, y'all. 40 minutes. What else can we do? What other stuff? Let me go back up to where you guys. So it was drill, 2000s drum bounce, old school trap beats, jungle beats, heavy synth trap, opium style, which is like Playboy Cardi and them, JPEG Mafia. So I'll let you guys vote for the next track. Beat was alright, it was alright. Tupac type beat. Scott Storch. We need Nexus. I wish I had a USB port. I would plug up my MIDI controller. It'd be so much easier. Let's just assume that you guys have no MIDI controller. Nexus is your best friend when it comes to all things like Scott Storch, that type of style. I would recommend the Hollywood expansion because they've updated, and I don't remember the exact expansion. I'm just gonna pick my favorite presets. I think it tells you where it's from. If you right click, it's from the Hollywood 3 expansion. Futuristic glow beat, Dilla style drums. Can you, we'll do that on Friday though. Excuse me, I can't listen to other people's stuff because YouTube will flag it. Drum and bass, I need to study that more. I couldn't even tell you where to begin with drum and bass. Plug beats. All right, so now the crowd is voting against Scott Storch then. It's like, how do we combine? This is what happens. Like a producer will be like, an artist will be like, yo, I need a beat that sounds like Scott Storch mixed with Pharrell, mixed with drill beats. And you're like, okay, I don't know if that's gonna sound right. We'll try to do multiple genres. Let's do Dilla drums with a glow type melody. I don't know if that's gonna blend or not, but let's try it. It may or may not blend. We might as well try it. So I think I have some presets saved for the glow sound that came from Chicago. Dang, I didn't save the preset. It's called like something After Midnight. I think it's this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. Let me mark this so I don't forget. This comes down to chords, really. Do you know how to play chords? Music 2.0. Oh, I see. Tupac mixed with Lil Xan for a game. My regards, family. Am kindly requesting for a detailed video on chords plus zodiacs. You have made me love music theory without attending a music class, but your inspiration is a drive as always. Shout out to you. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to screenshot that to share on Instagram as a testimonial. Yeah, the zodiac, there's a debate as to how authentic the zodiac is. That's the only thing about teaching the zodiac stuff. Is some people believe it, a lot of them don't. That's the tricky part, because they associate it with dating and the reasons why girls won't date them, so they try to stay away from it. Like, all that astrology stuff is fake. But that's how the ancients understood a lot of stuff. So if you don't already have it, I assume you already have it though. It's in my music theory magic course. I go much deeper, okay, about that. Like how Aries tends to lean towards red, stuff like that. There's certain chords and certain keys that tap into different zodiac signatures. Think of it this way. I'll be short, but this is what I cover in the course. It's all about resonance. Like when Jesus said you can move a mountain. Like if you don't understand what that means, you're just gonna think it sounds like rhetoric. But what it means is if you know the natural frequency of a mountain, everything has a natural vibration, a natural frequency. And if you do that frequency and do the opposite pole of that frequency, you can actually move that thing. It's how guitars work. Like if I strike a guitar, it hits a string, that string moves over to the saddle. That saddle goes on what's called the soundboard. and the soundboard sends it to the inside of the acoustic guitar, which makes it resonate with the inside of guitars. Because when you pluck a guitar string, the string is not what makes it sound loud. It's everything else that makes it sound loud. Resonance is about finding a frequency that other people have, and then when you hit that frequency, you chime with that person, and you could send and exchange energy. And that's why like certain bridges can literally collapse if there's a certain frequency that goes into a bridge. You could look that up. So physical systems gain or lose energy based on something called resonance. And resonance is finding the natural frequency of something. The ancients understood everybody to have a specific natural frequency. Once you understand that natural frequency, you can use music, which is frequency, to tap into their natural frequency and then command your energy that way. That's how I teach music. But it's a little bit deep for today. But if you go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory magic, I cover that much more depth. I do always with dithering. Is that wrong? Dithering is just adding noise so that when you translate the master, it doesn't have as many errors in the transcoding. Just try it with and without and ask which one is better. Do it that way. Okay, so now we're gonna do glow slash, what was it? Glow slash Dilla. If I even have Dilla drums on here, I'm not sure. Again, 90% of you guys' issue is not having the right drums. Like, that's 90% of it. Amen is out of here. Have a good night, man. We got about 20 minutes to finish this, so what am I doing here? Dilla plus Glow. Glow Dilla. We'll call it Glow Dilla like there's a rapper Glorilla. Glow Dilla. We just invented a genre. Whenever you make a new beat, can you cook up an 808 using 3X OSC? You can, but it's not going to sound good for a lot of reasons because it doesn't have enough controls to make it sound good. A real good 808 has more than just a pitch bend in an envelope. It has frequency modulation on it. It has filtering. There's like a lot that goes into it. It's not just a simple like sine wave. So let's figure out some chords here. So we definitely gotta have the A, C. So let's do, I'm gonna move real quick here, y'all, because this, I mean, there's not much we're doing except playing the chord here. So it's A, C. So I know I for sure want D, F, E, D and F. So we're gonna do 2, 5, 1. Now I wouldn't be that jazz like in this glow genre. I don't think they even know what ninth chords are, so I wouldn't go that far with theory. I really need you to make a beat for one of my songs. One day I'll figure out how to collab with y'all. You heard that DJ Quick and Problem album? No, I didn't. I saw DJ Quick with Problem. Now I understand why. I didn't know they had an album. Thank you for letting me know, because I completely overlooked the reason why they were together. But DJ Quick had a dope shirt on. I think it was at the BET Awards. He had like a shirt with all these top hip hop albums on it. Shout out to DJ Quick. Like, that's very musical for the average glow, but let's just make it our own style. This is 2, 5, 1. We've done this before. Instead of making that dramatic, let's tritone substitute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pulling that dominant chord down 6 semitones. From Serbia, shout out to you. Now my ear wants to hear D, and then now we're going to do what's called a secondary dominant. We're going to go to what's called the relative minor scale of the C major scale. So relative minor is, if you're in C major, you want to find the relative minor, you just count down 3 notes from the root note. So in this case, we're in C major, count down 3, 1, 2, 3. It gives you the relative minor. If you're in a minor chord, minor key, take your root note, count up 3 notes, and that's your relative major. Happiness is associated with major, so think of it as upward happiness, downward sadness, which is associated with minor. So that's the way I memorized that. You have any videos teaching how to make 808s using Serum? I do it on my website. I'll load it up real quick. The course is called, let me find it. It's called Drum Kit Sound Design. This is the course you want to take. I'll show you how to make a drum kit from scratch, like literally from scratch, using Serum, using different techniques. So that's the chord progression. We'll kind of use that as a building point. Nextly, let's go to Nexus. Let's find a lead of some sort. Let's go to leads. We want a smooth lead, so let's try darker leads. These are very dark. Their definition of dark is not what I thought it would be. So let's trying to think of an easier way to go about this. I think their factory presets have leads, like basic shapes. I forget what it's called though. We used to use the crap out of these Nexus presets. So all these leads are very bright. I don't want bright stuff. Actually, we're not going to use Nexus for this. We're just going to use Salter. Has a lot of leads that people don't even know are super dope. It's FL Studio plugin. Let's go to the leads. Start at the top. So now I can just play with my keyboard over top. So I'm just using that glissando. Something like that, okay? So it's all about the slide note, sliding from one note to the next. I don't know if Dilla drums will go with this, but we'll see. So the problem is the rhythm of the arpeggio is dictating the rhythm of the track. The same way there's 4 layers to melody, there's top line, harmony layer, contrast layer, rhythm layer. There's 4 layers to a beat. The same exact layers, the top line to the beat, the harmony layers to the beat, or the chords, the contrast, aka the bass, and then the rhythm, the drums. So if the rhythm is dictated by the harmony section in this case, you have to follow the rhythm of the dominant thing. If I try to blend in a completely different rhythm using like syncopation and all this other stuff, it's just gonna sound like 2 clashing rhythms. And that's what a lot of people can't comprehend as beginners, that rhythms need to blend as if you're stacking up 2 synthesizers. Okay, so let's find some drums that match. I do have drum breaks on here. Let's see what I can find. So we're gonna right click, open this up in Slice. And click the auto slice button in the top right here, over here, medium auto slicing. And I'll show you guys a quicker way to do this. By default, it's gonna dump all the notes into your piano roll. Go to channel rack, hit Control X. But what we are going to do is right click the typing icon, go to Slice X layout, C4. As long as your octave, your root note C, octave 4, you can now play your typing keyboard as if you're playing in an FPC, an MPC. So we're gonna just kind of just kind of play it by hand, okay, in parts. I'm not gonna like obsess about the timing here, but you want to play so here's what I would do if I was like doing a Dilla thing. I would loop it in a section, like 4 bars, and I would play one instrument at a time. So like the snare, and then I would do hi-hats. So let's start with hi-hats. Now I'm gonna go back and do snares. I don't like that snare, that was a little too bouncy. Also, you wanna look for, now, this recording doesn't really have ghost snares, but you wanna look for ghost snare chops in the drums as well. Have you used the new plugin called Hyperchorus? I did the other day. I don't use it very much though, to be honest with you. Alright, let's find our kick. Again, there's not much variety with the velocity here. All the kicks sound the same because it's from a synthesizer. These drums might not be the best drums for this because it's not dynamic. Yeah, you know, this drum set. So this is where you gotta have an ear for drums. Dilla stuff is one, has way more change ups. Let me try. See how everything's the same? That's how I know it's a synthesizer. Let's try something more acoustic. We do have. Now, last time I used AJ stuff, it flagged my content. That's why I don't mess with this stuff anymore. So let's try something different. I thought I had SJ stuff. Where is my folder of stuff? I'm missing a folder. Or is it? No, it's not this one. I'm trying to think what drum breaks I could use without. Hold on, y'all. My son is waking up. I gotta get him real quick, and I'll be right back. Back in action. My bad, y'all. I had to make sure my son was alright. I know we lost some folks. It is what it is. What happens when I just leave. But it's all good. Nobody's bound here. This will be on replay. So here's the dilemma that we have for this track. We're trying to blend Dilla and Glow together. So here's the problem. Rhythmically, here's the scientific problem, is that we have a dotted arpeggio. Because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a dotted rhythm. So that trying to mesh with a Dilla, which is like boom, something like that, is going to be kind of difficult. So once we have the music, what we're going to do is sample ourselves. Now this is like sorcery at its finest. We're going to highlight all this stuff, hit Control G. Now that we have this in a new pattern, a MIDI pattern, I'm going to turn down the synth just a little bit. And then now what we're gonna do is right click. Actually, before we right click and consolidate, let's right click the tempo over here, the pattern over here, transpose. I like to go up and down 3 semitones. -3 pulls the key down. Positive values pulls the key up. Hit it with the good old gross beat. Here's a cooler way, in my opinion. What up, Zyron? Been watching you since 2016. We've come a long way from. Dang, dog. I might have to screenshot that. Thank you, dog. That's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you for letting me know that. I'm out of breath because I was running up the steps. So here's what it sounds like slowed down. Sounds a lot more R&B now. So what we're gonna do though is print this to audio. Let's right click, consolidate tracks from track start. And cut, we want song selection, cut remainder. 16 bits, fine. We're gonna leave the effects on if you have any and then hit start. So again, what we're doing is sampling ourselves. So now that when we take this into a Dilla type track, we can chop the audio up as if it's a sample. So let's go to mode. We're gonna put it on stretch mode for now, and I'll show you guys different techniques. So now we have the audio. We can go down to the Dilla tempo, which is like 84, 88 BPM. We gotta, excuse me, we still gotta find drums though. So we're not going to, let me think for a second. I think if we open this up in Slicer, I think it keeps its old timing, I'm pretty sure. Slice it by the beat. The thing is, it keeps its timing, so if we ever want it to lock in 84 BPM, we're gonna have to re-render the time, re-render the audio with a new time tempo. Okay, so I'll show you guys the little techniques. When we get there, we'll get there, but don't worry about that just yet. So right now we need to make some Dilla drums. So we need to find a drum set that sounds like, these might be close. No, this is more Dilla. Here we go. I just don't like the groove, so we're gonna right click, open that up and slice. It's gonna slice it for us, and now we're gonna go through, play this by hand. Again, you can right click your typing keyboard, layout slice. So now we're just gonna create our own pattern here. And again, we can use that technique, loop it for 4 bars, put it on loop record. What plugin was track 1 and 2. Nexus for the arpeggio. We sampled that. It's called After Midnight 1 preset, and then Saw was the second. Under leads, the patch is called FG Analog Funk. We use that for that R&B glissando type lead. What's a good sound library for drum loops like this? I just would go on Reddit and type in drum breaks Reddit. There's no like one library. I had to download a lot of them to find the good ones, but yeah, there's only like a couple good ones actually out there. I think some of these are from waves.com too, WAVS.com. They have some pretty good stuff. All right, so anyhow, let's start. So again, I like to start with the percussion first, the hi-hats. So there's 2 different hi-hats. One is a strong hi-hat, and one's a softer with another texture in the background. So we need to find the softer hi-hats. Record these first as if it's the metronome, and then we could use these as the metronome. Okay, so I only looped it for 2 bars. Whoops, let's do that again. So loop record allows us to keep playing. I just need to know where my snare is here. So again, the snares sound the same. That's how I know it's a sample. It's too perfect. So he used a sample. You really can't do much to add the snares. Now I'm recording by hand, so we have that natural like gap in timing. Choo Choo says, crazy, I was just watching your videos for a quick lesson before I hit the lab, and no doubt here he is live. Even better, keep up the work, my guy. Thank you for even hopping into attendance today, my brother. So now let's find the kick. I kind of like that as a those kicks sound fake because in real life you're not going to go boom boom every single time, and so this is why it's important to get the right drum kits. What's up, LA? That's how I can tell this kick is a sample as well. This is the problem with samples, is that they don't have enough variation to sound real. So in real life, this kick right here is called a ghost kick. It would not play one at that velocity, and it wouldn't sound so bright. It wouldn't be like it would be like. So what we can do is find another kick and transpose this up to that marker, and then we can filter out that specific kick on that marker. So let's go back to Slice X. We're gonna find marker 17, send it to filter number articulation 2, turn on the low pass filter here, and now when this plays, wait, is this 17, marker 17 filter? Trying to figure out why it's not playing the muffled. So here's the real kick. It's muffled now, so it goes boom like that. We're mixing J Dilla with Glow beats. We're trying to see if this experiment even works. So now it goes like that instead of boom boom. It's got to turn it up. So it's little stuff like that. So now we have more of a Dilla performance because, again, that ghost kick sounds more realistic. So now let's add that weird, I think it's these like water drop sounds. That's such a weird sound. Let's turn these down a little bit. But they add for the delay after that snare, so it goes like boom, like that. So it's like, so that's, those little time delays add up. Now what we could do is, before we start transposing and doing the sorcery, let's pull up our audio. Actually, let's hear what it sounds like. I forgot we have it already chopped up in the slicer. So we might have to do magic to this to make it fit. Try to get that locked in. So musically, they all work together because they're in the same key, but as you can see, we still need more transient heavy stuff. That stuff isn't very transient heavy. So here's the magic I was going to show you guys. The water drop goes hard. It's funny. We could pull up what's called the time stretch on Fruity Slicer. So even though we sampled this chop at, I think it was like 130 BPM, we're trying to play a 130 BPM arpeggio over 84, so the time's not going to line up. So what we could do is use time stretch in Fruity Slicer to time stretch each chop. This makes it a little bit like blurrier though. Let's do it the opposite way. Let's make it shorter. Okay, so we can just try messing with the decay as well to make the chops decay per chop. So now let's do the Dilla thing, which is to make that weird. Now we're gonna get into weird land here. There's a plugin called Precision Delay Mod. Wow, super small. But basically we're gonna put the delay speed on 0 We're basically creating a delay to where the left side's doing something and the right side's doing something different. That's what I'm doing here. Okay, so now we're gonna set the filter off. We're gonna put delay mod on, which is a pitch wobble. You can pretty much do this with delay 3 as well. So it's all about that left ear, right ear difference, and we're gonna put it on ping pong mode. I just need somebody talking to fill up this gap. Now at the end, I want to change out some of the music though. The Bob Ross, that's funny. The Nexus synth was so fruity at the beginning and now it's a masterpiece. Yeah, that's the Chief Keef preset. That's funny. We still gotta add something to this, like maybe, I feel like talking would go dope over this. I don't know if I have samples with talking though. Let's see if I can find something. I have random, what is this? Random samples. Okay, so apparently I have a folder called random samples. And these are some of the samples I used for the beat battle with Curtis King. So I think one of these was from a movie. Dang, I was so disorganized back then. What the heck? Wait, turn the sync mode off. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Okay, so Bill Clinton. What the freak? Brian McKnight never. Let's just add like a Martin thing. I don't even know. Just clicking on random stuff. This was stuff for the beat battle from 2020 that it's had.
Blow for you, girl. I gotta do my thing. Keep them closed. Blow for you, girl. I gotta do my thing.
So again, you would do like the weird pitch wobble thing. I'm just gonna run it through the same delay, see what it sounds like.
Blow for you, girl. I gotta do my thing. Keep them closed.
Also, you can add gross beat over top of that. Random Martin sample. The Alan Watts monologue. Do I have that in there? No way. Oh, I thought I did. I know I have like a white dude talking, but I don't remember what it's called. It's like the most random sample. Griselda, Fire in the Booth. These are so random. Mo Money, what is this? I just want to hear this myself. Oh, this track. Okay. PUBG shots, like what is this though? Razor Ramon's speech, that might be good.
You turn the other cheek? Yes, father. But when he took that swing,
She's called your taxman. Óyame, chico.
Alright, let me see if that fits. It might not. But what you could add is like if you don't have like DJ equipment, you could use gross beat to chop it up. Let me do something real quick here. So I'm hitting Alt, left clicking to do this like grab thing that I'm doing here. Let's turn this down.
Blow for you, girl.
Yeah, Martin might not be the vibe on this one.
Óyame, chico. You steal from Razor Ramon. You rip off
That bad guy?
the bad guy. Do you know how long?
So I used that in the beat battle. So that was. Let's see what we could do with this. This may or may not work. So let's just try some stuffs. Firstly, we want to do that. Let's just route it to 5. Let's just route it to 4.
Your taxman. Óyame, chico.
So I'm using the volume part of gross beat. to chop off random parts as if we have volume dropouts.
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon. You rip off the bad guy. Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
Oh, wrong values. Hold up. Yeah, I meant to type in 80 milliseconds.
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon. You rip off the bad guy.
All right, so there's a lot going on here. Hold up. Let's reroute the chords. I forgot that was routed to that track.
Your
I know. What are we doing? OMG, Colin. I'm trying to see if this will work. I think I'm just doing too much.
Your tax man.
Thank you, Buster.
Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon. You rip off.
So with the drums, I feel like they're a little too early. I'm gonna grab the entire drum, go to the settings of the plugin, go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift just a little bit. So that way it's
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
I was doing too much with that vocal. I was trying to do like a Dilla dialogue thing, monologue, but I don't have the exact files I'm looking for. Let's get these drums a little more lo-fi. So now that we have the drums, let's go to kilohertz, bit crush. We're gonna right click the sample. If you want to emulate the MPC 60, it's 40 kilohertz. Right click, go to 12-bit. And then this is a free plugin, by the way, and then turn up the quality. And this will give you that authentic MPC 60, pardon me. Thank you, Vigo. MPC 60 coloration. What's the shift do? The timing shift? It just delays the drums a little to the right to fit better in that groove.
Your tax man.
You reminded me I wanted to do a pitch shift as well, so remind me.
Your tax man.
So let's say the drums are a little too like bright. We can go to this. Now luckily it has it on the plugin. We're gonna grab this pitch and pull it down. And let's see if we can get a better tone.
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
Normally I would do more drums than just a 2-bar loop. But
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon. Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
now I would usually put gold clip over this, but my gold clip plugin isn't working. So we're gonna use standard clip, but gold clip has a much doper sound for this boom bap type sound, but we're just gonna push the drums.
Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
I feel like we need more instruments in here. I just can't think of what I would want.
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You
Here's another thing I like to do on this type of style is add a fruity stereo enhancer and then widen out the phase offset.
Your tax man. Oya Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
bass mono. Only thing is I only want that on the drums. So let's move this to the drum track. And then we could have the bass in the middle. This is optional, not mandatory. Let's find a bass.
Yo, Taxman. Oye, Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
Now, doing that left-right thing can be cool, but it could also get loud. I might even pull back the time shift because now I'm hearing the subtle differences.
Yo, Taxman.
Now, when you add the Fruity Stereo Enhancer plus time shift, now it's delaying a delayed thing, which gets super delayed. So I'm going to pull back the delay.
Yo, Taxman.
Turn the drums down for a second.
You steal from Razor Ramon.
Okay, we still need some instruments in here, so let's figure out a bass line here. Now the bass line is not the greatest. Let's just record something in.
Yo, Taxman. Oye, Mexico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
Bass could be a lot better. Again, I'm not the greatest bass player. Let's hit control down.
Yo, Taxman.
We want to keep this centered.
Oye, Mexico.
So I'm gonna go. Do, do, do.
Yo, Taxman. Oye, Mexico. Yo, Oye, Mexico. Oye, Mexico. Oye, Mexico.
Hold up, y'all. That's why having a MIDI controller is just way easier.
Oye, Mexico.
Wait, da, da, da. Hold up. Falls like in between a quarter step.
You steal from Razor Ramon.
Alright, let's try to mix this a little bit. Let's add the LA3A to the bass to add more harmonics here. Also, I forgot to show y'all something. Dilla was known for him like randomly muting the drums. What we could do is right click, create an automation clip, and go to like a half beat or a beat in this case. And let's say we want the drums to just randomly drop out. We can right click to create random dropouts. Chords and progressions intervals again sometime. Yeah, probably the next stream I'll spend more time. Right now we're kind of wrapping this up. I appreciate everybody who's here. How many people are even here? A lot of people, freak. So let me do the drum dropout to show you what I'm talking about.
Yo, Taxman. Oye, Mexico.
Like right here, I might drop it out at the very ending here. That's what I use. I keep going down in granular movements. So for example, I went from the bar to the beat to the half beat until I need to get to the exact measurement. So that's how I use my snap to grids. I don't keep mine on a very low value because it's hard to. I did that in the wrong spot. Let's do it over here. Pull back some of the timing here. Now, luckily, we could just cut and paste the automation so we don't have to keep doing that. Hit Control B. So try out drum dropouts if you guys are going for the style. Now, we still need to add a vibe. The vibe is slowly getting there, but it could be better. I'm missing one plugin, but it's all good. Let's mix this bass and then we'll do the vibe next. Let's do, what am I doing here? LA3A. Thought I had it on here, I guess not. Let's just do the 1176. I must have got the LA3A later. Now we're running the bass through a compressor to add more harmonics.
Your tax man.
Let's turn down the output.
Oya Mexico. You steal
I feel like we need some kind of vocal chant or something to go over top.
Mexico. You steal.
Let me find like random stuff in here. I don't even know what this is. The secret is. Do I have Serato on here? I better do. I don't have Serato. Oh, I do. Serato sample. We got Serato sample on this computer. Let's go. Wait, start trial. Oh, I gotta log in. Hold up, y'all. Hopefully it lets me even log in. Serato sample. You mute my mic too. My son is.
Mexico.
Looks like I loaded it. I don't know if this is Serato 2.0 or Serato 1.0. I can't tell. The screen's kind of small. But I'm just going to load up a random sample. I don't even know what key we're in. I forgot what key we're in. We're going to let this load up. This looks like Serato 1.0, but it should work. Let's find samples. Serato looks so different back then. And now we're just going to just go by ear and just see what we can add over top. So I usually chop one chop and I say how many semitones are we off. So you could pitch it down until you get to the right one. So I pitched everything down a semitone. Now everything else should sound in key. Let's do this layer, and then we'll do a different layer with more melodic stuff.
Your tax man. Oya
So we can mess with those chops. Cool thing about chops is you can quantize them. So let's hit Alt Q.
Your tax man. Oya
Because Serato is so time stretched, we could just delay everything and it will sound in groove. So let's go to the wrench tool, turn on time shift.
Your tax man.
So now let's find parts of the sample that actually have a melody to it. Set of chords. I want to go da-na-na-na. I might do that as an ending. So these are more of my style chops. I don't know if Jay Dilla would do it this exact way, but I know he did a lot of micro slicing.
Your tax man. Fire
So this groove's a little off. So let me fix that. I should have just kept my own timing without quantizing.
Your tax man.
Yeah, Razor Ramon, isn't that crazy, right?
Your
What up, Sean Mays? For even knowing who that was.
tax man. Fire
So we need a little more like rhythm. Let's start balancing these samples. They're trying to fight. So a simple way to do this is just separate the samples so they don't. I feel like we need more kicks. Da-doom, cha, da-doom, doom, doom. So let me find that kick. I know I'm moving quick here, y'all, but this is just going back to fix the stuff we already did. Just trying to go back to the kick and add more ghost. Gotta find that ghost kick. So I'm gonna add more this to that ba-boom. Yeah, definitely with those string hits, definitely a Premiere type vibe. The drums need to be like a little faster. I'm trying to think of what we could do to speed it up. Where's our drums, y'all? Let me take off this left-right panning for a second. Where are... Oh, here's the drums. That's my era of wrestling. I'm surprised you figured it out from it. Just that little tiny clip. That's so wild. I was using that for a beat battle beat one time. I grew up on him at the tail end. Altberg is here. So let me fix these drums a little bit. It needs like more to do in there. So I'm just hitting shift. Feels like the Wayans Brothers theme song with that ring. This sound here reminds me of the Wayans Brothers. So we're adding all these little ghost kicks. So it's all about that kick just before the snare. Gotta fix this timing though. This note here. You're procrastinating on sampling? Oh, I see. It's little things. It's all about timing. I feel like the drums can be a little louder. For real. Oh, and sampling and sound selection. When you mix in level, do your kicks always have to be at -6? Nah. You could just erase all the numbers from your head there's no number. You just push it until you get the tone you want. I'd recommend looking at my videos about how to mix drums because I have a newer technique that adds a lot more clipping to it. Let's see if all this fits though. See, the sample by itself doesn't sound as like as full. See, this one's doing dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. That rhythm is clashing with the other rhythm. Technically, they're playing contrast, but you guys got to be careful with how you stack up rhythms, though. I needed the sample to go like you at the end. It'd be dope if they had that in there. I think I'm gonna wrap this here because we've done enough. I need the sample to go you. I feel like they have something in here that would have that vibe. I knew they had a U in here. There it is. Wait, I don't know why I didn't play, but hold up. That wonder why I didn't play here. I think it's the overlap of the notes. So let's combine these, hit Control G. Figure out what's overlapping here. There we go. I knew we had a U in there somewhere. My soul was telling me there was a U in there. So what I like to do from here is combine all the MIDI, hit Control G, and we'll render this to audio, or we'll render to audio. So consolidate from track start. I usually do it for everything except the drums, but in this case we're going to do it with the drums. So we could always go back, and then we're going to transpose it up and down to see if we get a different vibe or not. That's the last step for like finalizing the track. Another way you could do it is just double click, switch it to mode, stretch mode, switch it back to resample, and then change the tempo.
Your tax man.
It's better if you produce in higher tempos and then slow it down.
Your tax
Let's try it the other way around. See, some of the drums are off, like there's little timing issues with the sample timing, but so I pitched everything down.
Your tax man.
We can play with different sample rates here, kilohertz. It depends on how lo-fi you guys want your sound. So here's 20 kilohertz. Let's try 40. If a lot brighter. And lastly, we just need a compressor. Then we'll wrap this up.
Your tax man. Boy, amazing.
Different styles of compression. Let's just try them all. Mastering is the cleanest one, but let's try a different one. I think vocals has the most harmonics. Oh, I clicked the wrong plugin. Hopefully it doesn't crash and fail.
Your tax man. Boy, amazing.
They've updated. I like those on 11, but I don't have it on this computer. So that's the beat. There's nothing else I can really think to do to it. So that's Glowdilla for y'all. That took forever to get there, but we're gonna wrap it here. I appreciate everybody for hopping in. To all 43 y'all still here, thank you. Go to busyworksbeats.com. You guys can start your free trial. If you guys want to take it into very specific stuff, just go to busyworksbeats.com. You guys can check it out for yourself. All right, guys.